Today's show is brought to you by Lovable. Here we go.
Excuse me, do you want to play chess with us? No?
Please.
Chess?
Who wants to play chess? Chess?
Forget it. Should we just go inside and play Title Tuesday?
Okay, let's go.
It looks like Farouche's almost getting it done on the board. Should still be a draw. He's losing now suddenly.
He's throwing a thorn into the white side, holding on here for dear life. The nerves are kicking in.
He's playing with Ghost, afraid to commit.
Did he lose on time?
The clock is his worst enemy right now. Oh, look at this. He's trapped his own king in the corner. The black rook is hit as well.
Whoa, is this a blunder?
Checkmate is coming.
And welcome to Titled Tuesday here in the Take studio. It is the 11th day of the 11th month. It's game week 11. David, are we finally going to get the perfect 11 out of 11 score in Titled Tuesday?
Oof. First of all, I can't believe it's been 11 weeks already. We're nearly at the end of Split 1. Chess players do believe in signs, right? We believe in patterns. I think it's going to happen. Magnus is going to be inspired. Hikaru is going to be inspired. Bring it on. 11 out of 11. Let's go.
But even more important than getting 11 out of 11 is collecting points, because the Title Tuesday, it's all about collecting points for the Champions Chess Tour Total Leaderboard, which can take you all the way to the EWC, the Esports World Cup, which Magnus won this summer. And that was a really spectacular tournament.
It really was one of the highlights of the year so far. Magnus ended up winning it for his team there, Team Liquid. We'll talk more about that later, but definitely one of the highlights of the calendar for next year too, as the players have already shown how much they want to qualify. I can't wait for edition 2 of the EWC.
And we are also, as you say, we're already in game week 11, and this split only consists of 13 weeks, so there's not much more time to collect points in this Titled Tuesday for this autumn split. Who is going to win the autumn one? It's Magnus who's leading, but only 3 more Tuesdays, including this one, remain. And we can see that Magnus, he's got 44 points, followed by Hikaru, Firouzja, Lazovic, who last week won and climbed far up on the leaderboard.
Yeah, for everyone else, it's actually good news that Magnus is at the top here because he's already qualified. He'll be there at the EWC next year, no matter what. For everyone else, it's quite close. Not that many points separating 10th place and 2nd place on this leaderboard. So for those who can play, surely they'll try and stake their claim now and try to take their chances.
And I also noticed that Bortnik, the winner of the previous Tuesday, he has been passed by Lazovic, and he actually wasn't able to participate last week due to a bit of controversy. There was an issue with the anti-cheating software Proctor, and Bortnik sadly could not participate in addition to very many other players. And let's take a look at what he wrote on Twitter after not being able to play. He said that the new version of Proctor just broke the Title Tuesday. A lot of them can't join the tournament, and I am one of them. And he says that, I don't know why Chess.com hasn't canceled the tournament. A lot of the players couldn't join. Ridiculous. And Chess.com has now issued a statement in response to this, and they do admit that it was a mistake by them, that they've apologized to the affected players and have made changes that should prevent issues like this from occurring in the future. And we actually have Bortnik with us here. And Alexander, do you accept Chess.com's apology?
Hello, Take.
Hi.
Yes, yeah. I mean, do I have a choice? I need to keep playing. Yes, I'm so upset I could not play and have a chance to earn more points. As you already said, it's very important every tournament to have a chance, earn 1 or 2 or even 3 right now. Lazovic ahead of me in 1 point. And when you just lose a chance to earn 1, maybe 10, who knows, and be one step closer to one of my dreams, actually, to play the esport club, esport cup, which I tried to qualify last year as well. This made me upset. And actually, I was right on the Title Tuesday chat that we can join it. And I was only me. There was more than, I guess, 200 people who couldn't join. I still think they should, if they not cancel tournament, they should not count the points. That's my view on this situation.
But now you really need points because, like you say, it's your dream to play in the Esports World Cup. How motivated are you to get 10 points today?
I'm mostly angry. I want to, yeah, I want to just show myself again as I did 2 weeks ago, and has a chance, just playing again best players in the world. So always enjoying to face players like Magnus, like Hikaru. So I am actually motivated very well, and I want to say I already tried to join the Proctor. It works today, so they actually fixed the problem. So I want to mention that they fixed that problem. I hope this will not be laggy. So we'll see.
We'll see. And best of luck to you then in your chase for more points in the Title Tuesday total leaderboard. Good luck to you. And let's take a look, David, at which players have already signed up. He's saying that there's no issues with Proctor today. He's ready, and already 136 people.
Yeah, I'm excited. Look at that. Magnus has already joined. This is probably
Very
the first
early.
time, exactly, first time he's ever joined more than 5 minutes before the event has begun. Hikaru's there, Nepo's there after getting knocked out of the World Cup. Hans Niemann joins us, another winner of a previous split. It feels like everyone's joined early, probably because of what Alexander was talking about, right? The Proctor problems.
Maybe everyone kind of learned that Magnus last time running in with seconds before the tournament was starting. Luckily, he had some help to get himself set up. But let's take a look at where the players are actually sitting, because Magnus, as we can notice, he's not here in the Take studio. He is playing from the Netherlands in Team Liquid's offices, his esports team that he represented at the Esports World Cup. And we can also see that a lot of players are centered in Goa in India, and they're there for the FIDE World Cup because there are a lot of players that are still playing. Among them, Martinez, who got a 3rd place last week. He's combining both tournaments, and a lot of players are here in Goa, David.
Exactly. We see some images from earlier in the event. Today, round 4 started out there in Goa. Adrian Arigaisi still in the mix. Prague was still in the mix. But we have seen some favorites fall already. MVL surviving barely, making it through to an Armageddon and knocking out Artemiev. But there we go, Dubov as well. It's been a crazy time out there at the World Cup, and that makes things maybe better for us. It means that more players, having left that competition, are ready to play Title Tuesday.
Yeah, and the people that are playing in Goa, they are really trying to qualify for the candidates. There are 3 spots up for grabs. So it's an incredibly important tournament, but so is Title Tuesday because you've got the Esports World Cup, you've got the Candidates Tournament, and the World Championship title. There's so much important stuff going on at the same time. A lot of these players are combining both. And what we could also notice on that poster was that there was a new name that had qualified for the candidates since the previous Tuesday, and that is Hikaru Nakamura, who has played now 40 games and is therefore the highest rated player to have done so this year and qualifies via the rating spot. But these guys, they are focused on those other 3 spots up for grabs in the World Cup. But there's also been a lot of really big names that have been knocked out from Goa.
Yeah, we saw some of them just a moment ago. Anish Giri, who's already made it there to the candidates. He's now out of the World Cup. World champion Gukesh knocked out. Mamad Yarov, Abdu Satarov, Jan Nepomniachtchi. Here we go. It's a list of casualties. All of these world-class players, these 27, sometimes even 2,800 players, they have left us. Hans being one of the early casualties in the event.
And since they can't make it to the next round of the FIDE World Cup, maybe they can show up here in Title Tuesday. These are some of the players that we really want to see. Gukesh has not participated so far. Giri needs to start playing more Blitz. Niemann, he was on the leaderboard that we showed in the beginning. He needs to get his points back now. Nepomniachtchi, Abdusattorov, and so these are some of the biggest names that we really hope will participate today. Let's take a look again and see if there are any more people that have signed up. 180 players. Do we see any of these names?
We do. We see Nepo. It's good to see him back. And Hans Niemann. Still waiting for Gukesh. Giri, he's been kind of flirting with Take on X, just saying, I might play, I might not play, teasing us there. It's great to see some big names, but we want more. We want more.
And let's take a look and see if Magnus is ready. He is signed up here in the players. And we see here his entering his office in the Netherlands for Team Liquid. So we're going to have a great image of Magnus there today. And he is early and he is smiling. We like to see Magnus in this mood.
Exactly. It's nice to see him not running and stressed last minute before the tournament starts. He's been enjoying his streams, right? We've been hearing from him. He's been kind of explaining his thought process as the games go along. And nice to see him really enjoying this new Title Tuesday format. And we also have to say hello to a very special guest this week.
Yes, we have Julien Song, the famous chess streamer and also, of course, an international master, so a very good chess player. He is here with us. He's actually sitting in Magnus's office while Magnus is in the other office. Julien, he has become one of the biggest content creators in chess, and this is his story.
Hello. Is it possible to ask you a question for a video? No? When you ask people, it's random people you don't know, it's very stressful. Do you know who is this guy? Yeah, exactly. Congratulations. So my name is Julien Song. I'm 32 years old. I'm French. I'm a chess content creator with more than 1.5 million followers across all channels. And I'm also an international chess master. I think I have the answer. Everybody knows Magnus here. My parents, they didn't want me to work in chess. So I had to study. I did a business school, engineering school, and then I had a corporate job. But then during COVID, I decided to quit my job. My father, he took my chessboard in my bedroom, and he took it, and then it was broken because he threw it, in the room, and he told me like, but what are you going to do now? Like playing chess in your bedroom every day? But now it's different. I think I proved them wrong, I think, now. Now they're very happy. And now I've been doing content for more than 4 years. Okay. Ah ouais, merde. Si Magnus est vraiment connu en Norvège. One of my main goals is to promote chess among all the French-speaking countries because I'm French. It's important to have like a mission because it gives some meaning, some sense to what you're doing every day. Very lucky to be able to stream here, like where Magnus usually sits. I have all the giant glasses that he uses all the time, all his trophies, his YouTube trophy. This is my main channel, YouTube. Et de façon weakness and strength.
Au niveau des tails, que c'est...
I'm 26 rating. So I hope at the end of Title Tuesday I still beat 26.
And it was very good to get to know him and see that he's played against a lot of these top players already. But while we only have a minute left until we're getting started, David, I have to ask you, who have you picked as your player cards for this week?
Yeah, every week I pick 3 players to keep an eye on. And this week I have started with Denis Lazovic, the winner of last week's event. I've given him an 86 overall, but that is fast climbing, judging on his current form, one of the best blitz players in the world. Next up, it is Hikaru Nakamura, the new candidate, official, confirmed. He'll be fighting for the World Championship title next year onwards. And last but not least, I have gone for Julien Song. I've given him a bit lower. He is an IM, but on his day, he can still beat anyone. We'll be cheering for him here.
And with that, let's kick off Game Week 11.
Round 3. Oh, and did we see a blunder by Mitraba?
He did. I think he simply forgot that this move came with check, and look at the pain on his face, Mitraba. He gives a check. He has to keep checking. His time runs out. No, he's still going. Jose Martinez, and Magnus does win on time.
Oh boy. Connection gambit, time gambit, everything all at once. but we win.
What?
Is massively better.
What's happened here? Magnus Carlsen has blundered. Hikaru is narrowing his eyes. He might have seen it. Knight takes pawn. Rook takes pawn.
What a way to just ruin the game in one move.
And Hikaru takes the win.
We're getting ready for 11 rounds of 5 minutes per player, no extra time, which leads to a lot of like dramatic final seconds. And we are getting ready. It's all about getting these Champions Chess Tour points. First place gets 10 points. We heard it from Bortnik. It means a lot to these players because that is one of the ways they can qualify for the Esports World Cup. And Magnus currently in the lead. Let's see if he can get his third 10-pointer in a row. And we have actually started the rounds. We are ready for the first game. Magnus is playing against a Turkish FIDE master.
Yes, and Yavuz, I'm going to call him. And Magnus starting with the black pieces this week. He is the second seed, just behind Hikaru Nakamura. That's on the chess.com ratings. We see that Magnus's opponent rated very high. This is the English opening. Very symmetrical so far. I'm expecting black to soon start copying what white has done. Try to bring his knight out, maybe get castled. And it's what we call the symmetrical English. But already, Magnus not necessarily playing the expected moves. Queen in front of its bishop, and that has given white an advantage. Magnus definitely freestyling here. Normally, if he survives the opening, he becomes the favorite. So can his opponent try to apply some pressure before black completes development here?
Yeah, and I've seen that we've had these voting sessions for what opening Magnus has to play, but sometimes he also just has to respond to what his opponent is doing. But I feel like the first couple of openings and this mood that Magnus apparently is in, it can lead to a lot of weird situations early on.
It really can. And we've been doing those votes on social media. Normally it's for Magnus to choose his first move with white. That normally puts him in a creative, experimental mood. Here with black, he's taken the knight, giving up his beautiful fianchetto dark square bishop, but he's going to be arguing that white has doubled pawns later, and the eval bar saying much, much better for his opponent now. I'm going to ignore that temporarily. I think Magnus has got a plan in mind. He's going to push his pawn forward, fianchetto his remaining light squared bishop. He's going to bring his knight out. Still great light squared control for him. So I think for now, maybe Magnus playing something a bit dodgy, a bit suspicious, but he'll try and make it work.
He's usually gotten away with it, though. Oh, and I'm so sad to see that Team Liquid has not given Magnus like a huge vase to drink from. That is often one of the favorite things I have to look forward to in the beginning of the broadcast.
Yeah, he's got a mortal glass. Maybe he'll play like a mere mortal for once. Slightly better now for black already. I think that's a bad decision, this last couple of moves by his opponent from Turkey here. White now has isolated double pawns. Not only that, but white's bishop is really, really bad on the edge of the board. As we see one of our featured chatters there at the top cheering on Magnus, asking him to show everyone who the real boss is. I think already he's the boss of this position with black.
Yeah, he looks like he's taking it pretty chill, and he has a solid advantage as well when we look at the clocks. Like we say, it's only 5 minutes per player, and they can't get any more time. So it's very important to... Oh, a lot of big decisions from Magnus here.
Exactly. It's important to play fast, and instinctively, Magnus has instinctively given up the exchange. Little transition there. White sacrificed a knight in return for the rook in the corner. Black got a pawn in the process. Magnus takes back with his king. Wow. And he's arguing here that the bishop on the edge was trapped, has to go back home. And Magnus is going to play his bishop out next move, try to trade off white's beautiful light squared bishop. And he's going to have two very, very strong knights in return for the exchange. And apparently a blunder by his opponent. I'm struggling to see why. It looks nice for black, the compensation, but he's material down. And maybe it's this move, knight in, jumping to try and hit some pawns, and white's bishop is just the worst bishop I've seen in ages.
And it looks like Magnus is quite comfortable with the situation. And he's developing his final pieces, while that bishop just looks like a pawn, really. And how is he even now going to defend his pieces?
Oh, I don't think he is. I think he just has to move this bishop out the way, and this will be a very quick victory for Magnus Carlsen. Yeah, unfortunately, that's just such a big kind of burden, that that white bishop. Like you said, it's a big pawn, and it's on the first rank. He's essentially playing checkers. Magnus is playing chess. And we'll see the rooks get traded off, and black's knight is just going to sit dominant for the rest of the game.
Magnus trying to trade off the rooks, wants to simplify the position even more, and Magnus is now bringing his king into the game. It looks like it's going to be a comfortable victory for Magnus, but we have seen like the best players when they are facing much lower rated opponents in the first round, there's always at least one of the best players who's like tripping in the first round.
That's true. We've seen Hikaru, for example, lose in round 1. And yeah, it feels weird saying lower rated players because 2654 is so strong. But you're right. I mean, it's all relative. And Magnus, he's over 650 points higher than his opponent on chess.com ratings here. He's pushing forward. He's going to improve his king now. I think this is one of those positions you don't even have to calculate, right? It's a 3 versus 2 pawn majority for black. He's a pawn up, as well as having a dominant minor piece. Maud, I think it's going to be a good start for Norway.
Yes, we are rooting for Team Norway because there is also a country standings competition where the best 5 results for each country count towards that country's total points. And Magnus doing a good job of representing Norway. But I know that we've had a lot of other younger players in particular that have become Grandmasters and International Masters. This tournament is open to anyone with a chess title. So the FIDE master here from Turkey, Yavuz, he can also play. I've also participated with my woman FIDE master title, but when I did, it was very hard to get a lot of points because the competition here is really tough.
Exactly. There tends to be over 100 Grandmasters and other very, very strong players. And yeah, it's good to see you playing, Maud, but also good to see you here in the studio with me as we see Magnus now closing in for the kill with his b-pawn. These two are just way faster than white's pawns on the other side of the board. And Magnus will be making a new queen anytime soon, maybe winning the white rook or white bishop in the process. He looks very confident, though, very calm. And yeah, nice to see him kind of back to his best here, Magnus Carlsen.
The guy on the right is decent at chess, we get as a comment. I think that's a very safe statement to make.
Exactly. Breaking news.
Yeah.
Breaking news. And okay, Magnus has calculated this. I would have been slightly reluctant to go into this because now white's king moves out the way, takes a pawn, and white is only a few moves away. But Magnus has worked out that he's catching the enemy bishop. And now he can push this pawn forward, push the b-pawn. Oh, wow, he's even pushing the other pawn. He's going to promote the e-pawn now.
Don't get too fancy, Magnus. You need to take this seriously.
Exactly.
How is he going to stop white's pawn?
He's not. They're both going to queen. He's going to take a pawn with check. Why did he allow this, though?
Yeah.
It's still winning for black, but at least now it's a bit messy. The white queen and bishop defend each other, so still a bit of hard work to be done.
Oh, wow. Magnus felt like giving himself a bit of a challenge to warm up properly for this Title Tuesday.
Exactly. Breaking news we see at the top of our screens for everyone at home. Quick wins for Alireza Firouzja and Hans Niemann. But yeah.
Could have been a quick win for Magnus here too, but...
Exactly. He didn't want to break. This is bizarre. He moves his king back. He's going to hide his king away from checks over on this side of the board. But yeah, I think the clock situation is also going to help him. 20 seconds versus a lot more than that. But very surprising stuff by Magnus. Maybe the killer instinct isn't quite as sharp as it tends to be.
Yeah. 17 seconds now left for the Turkish FIDE master. And Magnus also now making threats to both the king and the bishop. He should win this game, but it was a bit longer than it may have needed to be.
Yeah, and there we go. Mate in 11 according to the eval bar. Magnus stretching, flexing, pretty confident. His opponent plays for a stalemate trick. If Magnus had pre-moved with his pawn, this would be stalemate, but instead it's checkmate. Magnus takes the win.
And we even see now that Yavuz had 8.3 seconds. We now have the milliseconds, which is very useful when we're watching chess with so little time in the end. So that's going to be very interesting to look out for in the rest of the broadcast. We see that Lazovic is still playing, but looks like he is winning. Do we have any upsets?
Ooh,
Nepo has gotten a draw.
Oof. Okay.
That's a disappointment, no matter who that player was.
Yeah. What's happened to Nepo recently? Disappointing World Cup. Yeah, he's a momentum player. He'll probably pick up some wins now on the bounce. He'll get easier opposition than the others will, but very surprising. Still a couple of games going, though. Denis Lazovic looks like he should win, and Andrei can too. Yeah, other than that, no real big shocks. And here we see the closing stages of Denis Lazovic's game.
Oh, but there isn't that much time left.
Yeah, not for Ying either. Oh, and that's check's going to end the game. That's going to be checkmate next move now. And Denis Lazovic does get there in the end against Fernando Torres there on the picture.
Yes, and Lazovic, who won 10 points last week, probably very motivated to keep up that streak and potentially qualify for the Esports World Cup. But very nice for him to get that win. And we see that Andrejkin probably winning. He's also won a lot of Title Tuesdays through the years. We can notice that. How is our friend in the other room doing, Julian? We can't see it here on this screen, but let's hope that he has been able to win his game as well.
Unfortunately, Julian Song didn't win. He lost on time in a very complicated position. He was playing Alexenko, a former candidate. So difficult start for Julian Song.
Yeah, I can totally relate to like the first round. If you are kind of on the bottom half of the players, you get someone really tough in the first round. So, okay, Julian, we're rooting for your comeback. And we can see now that most of the big names, we have them with 1 point each. Hikaru, Magnus, Lazovic, Andrejkin. And we already have the pairings for round 2.
Okay, and we have a choice of games to jump into. We have, again, a case of favorites against underdogs. We have an all-Polish clash between Duda and Nasuta, but let's stick with Magnus for now, as he plays a very strong player, one of Africa's best. And I'm not even going to try and pronounce his last name, Rakoto Maharu, I think it is, and Fai, as his friends call him. Magnus plays this move, A3, on move 3.
Yeah.
This was actually played, I believe, in the World Cup. Just today, was it yesterday? Very interesting opening, but again, Magnus freestyling, right? And
Magnus has some visitors in his office that have been helping him to set up this studio. We can see some movement there behind him, but very cool that he is in the Team Liquid studio.
Yeah, and looking very comfortable right now. Magnus Carlsen, he puts a pawn on h3 as well. He's essentially playing the Italian game, just with colors reversed. That means the black bishop is coming out. Normally it would be white bishop in the Italian coming out to c4. And he's playing in a way that's become very popular with the black pieces, just he's doing it with white and now pushing his pawn forward 1 square. Already black's slightly better because Magnus is playing a black opening with colors reversed. And I think he's just, again, waiting for his opponent to decide, giving his opponent as much choice as possible, keeping all the pieces on the board. And at the right moment, Magnus might get tempted to throw some pawns forward.
And Rakoto Maharu, was that how you pronounced it, David? He has participated only 1 time before in Title Tuesday for this split. So it's pretty interesting that he now gets to play against Magnus. I mean, that is one of my main motivations for playing Title Tuesday was I hope I can play against one of the top players that I never get to play against regularly. So it must be very cool for him to get this opportunity now.
Yeah, very, very cool. And it's going to be a great experience for him, still young. He's played in some big events. He's played in Grand Swisses, World Cups, Magnus's opponent. But this is one of the biggest games, surely, of his young career so far. We see the black pawn has advanced forward to d5, then d4, blocking things up in the center. Magnus, meanwhile, motoring his knight over towards the right side of the board where there are threats in the air. Maybe the knight coming forward to pin the black knight. Magnus forced to drop back his bishop. I'm going to say the blocked structure here helps both of them. It helps Magnus's opponent keep the game going as long as possible. Maybe we'll see a time scramble later, but it also helps Magnus just go into maneuvering mode as the clocks are level for now, and Magnus is offering a trade of knights.
Do you think that Rakoto Maharu's best chance is that this goes to like some kind of time scramble?
Yeah, I have a feeling. It's hard to outmaneuver Magnus in these block positions. He's the king of kind of knowing where to put his pieces, even if he's playing moves that the eval bar hates.
Yeah, this is good.
Oof. Yeah, maybe it was not this exchange that black should have gone for. Maybe keeping the knights on the board, since white is a bit cramped, would have been the best strategy instead. Knights and bishops leaving, and white is going to push his pawn forward and cement this white knight on a beautiful, beautiful square. Engines tend to prefer these structures for black, just since black has more space in the center. That's why it says slightly better. But we're far from realizing any big advantage for either side. I'm impressed, though, by the clock handling by Magnus's opponent. He's looking very calm. He's done nothing wrong so far.
He's doing a good job, and he even has a slightly better position according to the bar. And he's from Madagascar, so I guess the time difference isn't too big. Magnus in the Netherlands. That's also one of my favorite things about Title Tuesday, kind of bringing people from all over the globe together to play one tournament every single week. Like 100 years ago, these two would never have the opportunity to play chess against each other regularly. And now they get to face off.
Exactly, and talking of face-off, there is a face-off between the black pawn and the white knight. That is a free piece that Magnus has just offered, but take this pawn at your peril. I think Rakoto Maharu here is reluctant to open up some lines towards the king, and there we go. He didn't. He pushed a pawn on the other side of the board, and Magnus does retreat. I think that was a good decision. Otherwise, the g-file would have been open, and black's king would have been very, very vulnerable. So short-term piece sacrifice there from Magnus. Now the black rook is coming over. I really like black's position, I've got to say. I think Magnus might be in a bit of trouble unless he can mix things up. There we go. The king side totally blocked now. To trade or not to trade is the question. Magnus in endgames, that's probably one to avoid, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. But at the same time, in the first game, I felt like Magnus kind of prolonged the game with some like interesting endgame technique, if we can use that word. But and I think it seems like Rakoto Maharu here, he is threatening a pawn. He's activating his rooks, while Magnus's rook looks very depressed in the corner.
That's a good adjective.
Yeah.
I was going to be harsher. I was going to say it just looks very, very bad, but you're right. That is not a happy rook in the corner, and the black knight is going round. Like the white knight's going to have one nice square, but it's only one good piece for white. Black's knight equally strong. It's level on the clock. This is going to be very, very close. Black should at some point push this pawn forward, just defend everything on dark squares, and bring the king to the center, maybe improve this black rook. This is going to be a very close game. Magnus, at least, is trying to break out in the meantime. Oof. What are your predictions here for the rest of this encounter?
I think Magnus in the endgame will be able to outmaneuver him eventually, but the longer they both spend on thinking and the less time they have left on their clocks, when they don't get any extra seconds or any increment, I think it could get very dramatic in the final seconds. And also because the board is so locked, so the game is going to be long. And look at Magnus's expression. I don't think he's very happy about what's going on.
Definitely not. And he pushes a pawn forward. That is a bit risky. If the black knight just moves out of the way now, I'm not sure about en passant. There we go. He does move it. The black rook has access points to hit some backward pawns. Oof, Magnus, he's not happy about this at all. And people cheering for a rook sacrifice. We see it in the chat. It is all about the rook, but probably not sacking itself anytime soon. I love how Rakoto Maharu's camera is just bouncing up and down. That's because he's shaking his leg, right? He's that nervous.
Yeah.
He's playing the world number one.
It kind of looks like he's playing classical chess in some way, because he's like sitting there thinking with his head in his hand. And he's, he must be very happy with the game so far.
Exactly. He's played really, really well. He's not done anything significant wrong. Maybe he was a bit better earlier, but okay, that has disappeared. Now we see a bishop for knight trade. That's a very good knight for white, a very bad bishop for black. That's my big fear. But black does have the plan of marching the king forward and trying to win white's pawns that are stuck on dark squares. Or I think your prediction is going to come true. I think it's going to be a bit of a scramble, and Magnus, he's got to hope that his knight can jump later, because it's a bit stuck for now.
And I can tell, like, by his expression that Magnus is kind of like, oh, this game has required a lot more thought than I was thinking. Could be a rook trade now, but Rakoto Maharu, he is avoiding that, keeping the rooks on the board. Doesn't want to just be left with his bad bishop against that knight. Or maybe that bishop isn't so bad anymore.
Yeah, they do say like even the worst bishop is a pretty decent defender. So yeah, it's tough, right? Like the bishop can never really move; it has to defend its pawn. But at least it does control some squares. Magnus's plan is at some point to push the a pawn, but then his rook will be kind of trapped in front of it. I think Rakoto Maharu should just do nothing. Oh, he offers a rook trade. Now suddenly white is much better. He allowed the white rook behind.
Oh, and now Magnus can go win a pawn.
Yeah, he should have just kept the black rook on the back rank, waited, and done nothing, and probably it was just going to be a draw. Now we see a trade of pawns, but Magnus is going round the back, and it's the white H pawn that's probably going to decide this game.
Oh. Oof. And we also see from our little news ticker at the top that Niemann and Bortnik have had some quick wins in round two. Two of the main competitors in the Champions Chess Tour points table. They were both doing quite well there. They were both in the top 10. So that's good news for those two.
Yeah, they've both won tournaments in the autumn split, and both will be difficult opponents for whoever lies in store. Oh, this is so scary for Magnus Carlsen. The D pawn is marching down, but the white king will drop back and block that pawn's advance. Magnus needs his rook to come around. He takes a pawn with check. He's so brave, Magnus Carlsen, in these endgames, especially with his king. And he knows that the knight is going to stop the pawn, maybe even give itself up for the black pawn, while he marches forward, winning now for white.
But only 33 seconds left. I would be more nervous. I feel like Magnus is not in the right nervous mode that you should be when you have so little time left.
Yeah, he's a bit slower than normal. You're right, Magnus Carlsen. The white king drops back. The black rook maybe now should come down to the bottom of the board. There we go. Knight takes pawn forced. Black pins and wins the white knight, but can he stop the H-pawn? He goes maybe the wrong way with the black king there. He's going to take a knight, but his rook cannot get behind. Magnus now is just threatening to move his own rook out the way and make a new queen. He can do it by force here with a check. A new queen is born, and the time scramble begins.
And Magnus is talking a lot while he's in the time scramble. Should we hear what he says?
Let's do it.
Oh, je suis très content. Ah, les amis, on a gagné, c'est incroyable. Oh là là.
I think we heard a little bit of Julian's song there as well, but he said incroyable. So I guess, oh my goodness, this is, but Magnus is already drinking water while he has 12 seconds left. That's how confident he was at the end there.
Exactly. He did win it on the board. Just as he was about to win on the clock to Magnus Carlsen, he managed to swap off down to a winning king and pawn endgame. But look at his opponent, shake of the head. He knew he was so close, but not close enough.
And there was only seconds left on the clock, but Magnus was really keeping his chill. So it seems like he is in a good mood and he feels like he had control in that situation. And we can see that Lazovic already also has lost half a point, the winner of last week. And several of the top players have actually then kind of messed up their journey towards the perfect 11 out of 11.
Yeah, that's what we're all hoping for, right? Andrew Tang losing a bit further down, a couple of draws by top players as well. As we see round 3 beginning, I am wondering where to go next. Maybe Hans Niemann, but let's go to Hikaru first, as he plays an opponent who has upset the odds a few times so far in the event. We're just waiting for Hikaru to choose a first move. It's the Reti opening, bringing out his knight on move 1. And how will he develop next? He pushes a pawn forward to e3. Hikaru is in the candidates, but the tournament he played recently to qualify to make his last kind of classical appearances, he was a bit shaky. He wasn't at his best, so we'll see if he can rediscover his top form today.
And I can also see that Novozilov, who is a FIDE master, he participated last week and actually got 7 points. So he hasn't participated before that, but his debut in the Title Tuesday after they changed the format was very good for his level. So Hikaru actually getting quite a difficult opponent here. You don't want to play like a young person who's really good at internet chess. That's he's only 15 years old and has a FIDE rating of 2,446. So this is a good player.
Very good player. Nearly 3,000 on chess.com. That is, yeah, that's a level that I struggle to keep these days. It's very strong, it's very quick, and that means that he's a blitz specialist in some regards. Hikaru has traded off the first set of pawns, and we'll see how black recaptures. Just to note that Julian Song won in round 2. So for French fans, or French language fans, yeah, that's very, very good news. And we'll follow his progress a bit later. I don't know about black's last move. The black bishop almost trapped now, probably getting kicked back. And Hikaru is going to strike at the black center. Looks like he's more busy chatting, though, than focusing on this opening.
Yeah, Hikaru has always had this, like, he's always has this stream of consciousness while he's playing the games. And it's also always interesting to see him like click around on the board and make arrows and illustrate all of his points. And I'm wondering sometimes if that kind of helps him to perform better in internet chess than in the real world, where he can't sit there and like say, oh, but then he's threatening this and this. Like, I think that he in some way becomes better by talking to himself, which you can't do in classical.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can do, just you have to be very, very quiet. You just have to whisper to yourself under your breath. But yeah, I do genuinely think it's helped him just take the pressure off the fact he has a second career now. He doesn't have to win just to earn a living anymore. He's talked about how that has helped his career, Hikaru. He's trading off pawns and pieces in the meantime. He's trying to head towards a position where black is left with a horrible isolated pawn that's easily blockaded. Probably the dark squared bishops. There we go. Before I could draw the arrow, the dark squared bishops are off. A white knight now posted up in front of that isolated pawn. Beautiful outpost, can never ever be challenged. And we talked about bad bishops earlier. Black's bishop ain't great. So a small advantage for Hikaru now.
And it seems like he is concentrating on beating this very good Russian 15-year-old who's done very well in the previous edition of the Titled Tuesday tournament. And Hikaru, now that he has secured the candidate spot, he can kind of chill out a bit. But for him, he still needs to get these Title Tuesday points. And he's only won one tournament out of the 10 that have been so far. I think he would be disappointed by that if he was told that in advance.
Exactly. Before the format shake-up and Title Tuesday, he was winning 1 in every 3 tournaments, it felt like.
Wow.
And yeah, it just felt that he needed a few weeks to adjust. He wasn't at his best for the first few weeks of the autumn split. But here we go. He's brought his queen back. He's basically offering to repeat the position after the black knight came back to the center, but his opponent says no. And here we see a bishop trade potentially. I'm surprised that black bishop was so bad. But Hikaru wants to get his queen active. He wants to get his queen into the black camp.
Yeah, and the rooks could be traded. There's a lot of trades that could be made right now.
Professor Hikaru does like his endgames these days. He's kind of modeled his style on Magnus in a way. He likes to get these grindy positions, and the black knight posting up. I don't think that's good news for Hikaru. Like, queen takes pawn now will be met by the black rook sliding across, and black's rook will get a newly opened line. Win the pawn back immediately, which maybe Hikaru missed, so he just pushes a pawn near his own king. Ooh, watch out. There are tactics in the near future. Can't play this knight takes pawn yet because there is a pin. The white queen is so offside that maybe we'll see some tactics towards the white king a bit later.
I always get nervous when I kind of allow the position to be that level of tactical for a longer period of time, because you always have to be considering all of these moves. And here we can see now that the 15-year-old has moved his king out of the direction of the rook, maybe he is threatening to make that move now.
Yeah. There are definitely tactics in the air. Hikaru, I'm not sure what that symbol was. He's probably saying there are tactics in inverted commas there in the air, but he does need to speed up. We're used to seeing Magnus ahead on the clock, Hikaru ahead on the clock. Today, they both look a bit slower than normal. He moves his rook across, ruling out any tactics. The white rook now defends its knight, so there are no ideas of sacrificing in the center. Probably black now should be bringing his rook up just to defend this pawn and activating the other rook. But no, Novozilov tries to harass the white rook now. He's trying to repeat the position. He's trying to say, wherever you go, I'm going to hit you with my knight, and we're going to force a draw. But the white knight is the one that drops back, gaining a tempo against the black queen, and the white rook will try and use the new outpost in the center. There we go. Slightly better for Hikaru for the first time since the opening.
And look at this expression. Is he kind of like... Why does he seem disappointed in himself if this is the first time he's actually gotten a good position?
Yeah, Hikaru has so many faces, right? It's hard to know exactly what he's thinking. Often it's like, how am I only slightly better? Why am I not winning on the spot? Or maybe it's, oh, why did I play so badly for the last 5 moves? Suddenly I have to turn on the style now. Hikaru does suddenly have a 45-second advantage and growing.
How much would you trade a pawn for? How many seconds?
Oof.
in this situation?
45 seconds.
Okay.
I would
it's that big of an advantage.
Exactly.
Wow.
I think they used to say that one pawn is worth 1 minute, and that's, I think, over the board chess. Online, you can make more moves.
Yeah.
I'll say 45, and now, I mean, you predicted it, Maud. That pawn's just dropping off soon. Oh, he takes another one, Hikaru, but Hikaru's opponent. But what about this? What about this move? Hitting the black knight.
Ooh, that looks scary.
Oh, tactics in the air.
Magnus has won his game. The pressure is on Hikaru if you want to keep up with Magnus.
Okay, he didn't go for that check yet. There were ways for black to stay alive. He takes the pawn back, level material, and weird configuration of rooks. White's rooks centralized, black's rooks more passive, but also controlling squares. Can he keep the momentum going? Is he going to bring his knight forward? That would be the most obvious move in the position. Trying to go on the front foot, try to attack. The white queen needs to get to a better square. He pushes a pawn forward and loses some of the advantage. Black's creating an outside pass pawn now. This one is heating up. This one is getting very, very double-edged now, but the black queen is short of squares. Where's she going to go?
So yeah, I forget what I was saying before we started, but that's why everybody's streaming it now, is because they're trying, basically they're like chess.com and
well, Hikaru is not even focused on the game. He's talking about the fact that people are streaming the games because there is also a prize for the streamer who performs the best in Title Tuesday. So a lot of people are trying out streaming for the first time. But Hikaru, shouldn't you focus on the game right now?
Oh, he should have focused earlier maybe, because he did let his advantage slip, but he's winning again suddenly, Hikaru Nakamura, and it's all to do with a skewer along this line. But no, he's dropped the advantage back. He let his queen get counterattacked by the black knight, which swooped back to defend this pawn, and suddenly game on. Hikaru still up 20 seconds, still with a big attack potentially, but anything could happen still. 3 results possible.
Oh my goodness, and it is quite even on the clocks considering the situation we had earlier, and Hikaru seemed to be talking about completely other things. Is he going to have time to win this game?
Suddenly black's better. Oh, the white king, suddenly there's a checkmate threat on the long diagonal to swoop in with the black queen or to come behind with the black rook. How's he going to block? He offers a queen trade. That might have been necessary, but the black a-pawn is going to be dangerous in this endgame if the queens do come off. Hikaru doesn't look happy with how things have developed. To trade or not to trade, that is the big question. Such a difficult moment. 25 seconds, though, for his young opponent. Can the teenager keep up the speed? He swaps queens and goes back. That's a great move, but watch out. Checkmate threatened. The black rook blocks that one as well. The rook should slide behind now. Oh, why did he not go behind with his rook? He's trying to use his pawn as a distraction. There we go, the black knight attacked. 13 seconds for black right now. Another pawn drops, and Hikaru suddenly winning again. Is there a checkmate idea by putting the rook on the 7th rank? He saves the pawn first. The white knight attacked. The knight has to move. It drops back, and Hikaru, he's really been inaccurate this game. 2 pawns versus 2 pawns. One of the clocks is about to go red, and there we go. Under 10 seconds. Suddenly white is winning. It's going to be checkmate. He's walked into a checkmate net, his young opponent, but nope, check again.
Oh, is there going to be some kind of perpetual check here?
Wow, Hikaru sees his opponent give up a rook, and there we go. Hikaru wins by resignation, but it was mostly the clock that decided it.
Wow, that was not a clear-cut game at all, but Hikaru does manage to get his 3rd point. So he is in the lead together with Magnus and lots of other players that we can see here on the side. We also see that Anna Kremling has won her first game of the day, which is very good. And also, it's nice to win one of the first 3 or 4 rounds, because what I noticed in my participation here was that I lost a game, and then I lost another one, and I lost another one. Then I got a free point because there's an odd number of players, and a lot of the worse players, they start dropping off during the tournament. So actually it just gets harder and harder. And I'm happy for Anna that she got a point early on in the tournament. And we see now that there are going to be some big names up against each other. We see Firouzja is also playing today. I don't think we've addressed that yet. So that's also fun that he is also playing here. And we will be following his game, the game of 2 French players. Well, at least Firouzja is representing France, and Bacro. So that will be interesting to follow. Both of them here have 3 points each.
Yeah, it's the French number 1 against the French number 3. As we saw Bakro eliminated in the World Cup quite early on, I believe in round 2. Firouzja didn't even play in the World Cup. He's so focused, so locked in on the EWC and this whole Champions Chess Tour circuit that we're talking about. It's the Catalan opening. We see Firouzja appear. It's a bit of a weird branch of the Catalan opening. Normally the black pawns don't go to a6 and h6, but Magnus has done it. It's become trendy. The black bishop also on a bit of an odd square where it can get hit, and Firouzja jumps in with his knight as he gives us a smile. Smile for the camera, Alireza.
Yeah, and he seems to also be talking. A lot of these players are streaming their games. As Hikaru mentioned, we got that little soundbite of him saying that a lot of players are doing that because there is a prize for the best streamer in these Title Tuesday tournaments. And also, maybe it just helps them to kind of lower their shoulders a little bit and not take it too seriously, to kind of be talking themselves through it and see it more as like a good, what should we call it, a good training run. But for Alireza, he needs to start getting points in Title Tuesday. He wants to make it to the Esports World Championship.
Yeah, he really does. Whenever he's played Alireza, he's done pretty well, but he hasn't played every week. And he will not start needing to rack up those points. He can't just take it easy because he might get overtaken in these final few weeks here of the split. In the meantime, the position does look great for white. It's not a winning advantage, but it's definitely a long-term thing. Black's bishop, which has just moved once, is also pretty bad. It's been the day of bad bishops. This black bishop now sitting on a really ugly square. White's knights are marauding forward. And this is a big, big weakness. White has a bind. Pawns on dark squares, bishops on light squares. It's just full board control right now. And Alireza is going to try and switch it up. He's going to try and put his rook on this semi-open file. It looks like in the battle of France versus France, it's white who has the advantage.
And Alireza, he did win in Game Week 6. He got a 2nd place in Game Week 4 and a 3rd place in Game Week 2. So when he does participate, he does really well and he's gotten a lot of points. But it's clear that he needs to step it up in these final weeks of the split and is prioritizing playing online in these Titled Tuesday tournaments. And here we also get an image of Bakro, who also has participated a couple of times, and his best result is 8 points, giving him 21st place, which is not enough to get any points for the leaderboard, but is a good result nonetheless.
Yeah, and Etienne Bakro, the French defense on Twitch is supporting him, saying he should show the kid how proper chess is played. I guess Firouzja is the kid in this case, but Bakro was a child prodigy himself. Once upon a time, he was the world's youngest Grandmaster when he became a GM at 14 years old. So very, very kind of storied player there. We see lots of pressure now on the G file. Bakro is trying to defend this passively here. He's going to move his rook across just to defend any checkmates. But White's position looks so good, and Bakro, ironic that he froze with this kind of camera image, head in hands, because his position is painful. And look at that, knight takes pawn. Ooh. I was going to say it, the queen couldn't have taken back because there was checkmate. So Firouzja now a pawn up with the attack.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it looks like Alireza is very concentrated and very focused on figuring out how he's going to get his advantage converted into a win. 3 out of 3 points so far, and has won a lot of his games very quickly as well. So it's a guy with a lot of confidence right now.
Yep, confidence. He's looking very calm. Bakro, just hard to find moves for him, unfortunately. His rooks are both very passive, just defending pawns. His queen has nowhere to go. His knight and bishop are fine. But if they move, the black king might be a bit vulnerable.
It's a process of elimination. What can he move? A pawn?
Pawns? Pawn a5?
How many moves does he have left then? Not that many.
It's ugly. Maybe he can put a knight in the center, but it's not clear what it's doing there. It will never get taken. And okay, he pushes a pawn. We got there. We said it, right? And still tough for him, though.
It's always a bad sign when you're like, okay, the only thing I can do is push pawns, and then you start counting. How many times can I do that in a row? And then my position is going to collapse. Yeah,
and the opponent can improve pieces. Alireza, at the right moment, will try to bring his rook up and across to try and go for some new checkmate ideas. First, he recenters his knight, which will be on a beautiful central square. And yeah, lots of back row fans today, it feels like, in the chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, he might not get mated on the back row, but it does feel like he will get mated maybe on the 6th row. Looks very, very good for Fruja. I don't see many players calmer than that on the camera.
Yeah, and what kind of a pose is that? There's such a contrast between these two right now. I can't believe that that's what Alireza considers a comfortable way of sitting and thinking. But he's not even thinking that much. He has a huge time advantage as well. He seems to be really comfortable in this game.
Oh, big danger here for back row. Again, process of elimination. He can't move much. If he moves the knight, I was going to say there is... Oh, if you take back with the knight, there would have been queen takes pawn, queen sacrifice, and a checkmate with the white rook still in the air. But, oh, Alireza, he's let his opponent back in. Has he? If queen takes queen, knight takes rook is a check. And black will take back the queen next, having profited. Okay.
Oh, and they're going to trade queens, and it's going to be an endgame.
Yeah. And white's a pawn up, but suddenly black's rooks get the open file in the endgame, and now checkmate's off the table. Alireza has to do it all over again.
Wow. But only a minute left for Bakro. It will be interesting to see if that is enough time to deal with this endgame.
Oh, he should have taken the open file. Now white's rook dominates on this line, and all white needs to do is avoid getting his rook trapped. He brings his king forward. He trades off some pawns. He's going to continue advancing with his king. And this should now be winning. Hans Niemann wins and moves to 4 out of 4. Firouzja is likely to join him when we hit the first break of the day because of the clock. 2 minutes up, but also because of the board. 1 pawn up. And Maud, it's hard to see it come back now.
Yeah, it looks like Alireza is finally going to manage to win this game and has a huge time advantage. I mean, Alireza, he's very good at bullet chess when you only have a minute left on your clock. And he has 2 extra minutes at this point in time. I can't remember seeing someone have that much of a lead at this point in the game.
Yeah, that's going to compound the misery. Knight takes pawn, that's going to end the game. There's a knight fork in the air, and that also means the black knight will drop off. We might see a knight trade, but Alireza will be 2 pawns up, 2 minutes up. It's time to resign for back row. There we go. Firouzja takes the win.
So he now has 4 points out of 4 possible ones. So he is doing very well. Let's see who else can catch up to Firouzja in the lead. We have Julien. Let's see how he's doing. He has a minute extra on the clock. It says he's massively better, but the position seems very chaotic.
Okay. Yeah.
What is your first reaction to this, David?
I'm trying to count the pieces.
Yeah, same.
He's the exchange down, Julien Song, but he can win back the exchange. It's bishop for rook, advantage for black, but that can change any moment. Probably you should try to amp up the pressure on black's pinned rook right now. And yeah, once the dust settles, it does look like he'll have a big attack and at least level material. So it's looking good for him on the clock as well. He's playing against Volanchik chess, which I believe isn't his opponent's real name, but queen takes pawn now has been blundered. You can take this pawn for free. Great move. That pin on the black rook is going to devastate black. Now the black knight as well, hanging in the air. I think that was the winning blow. He found it, Julien Song.
A good round for France.
Yeah. Well, unless your name is Etienne. Etienne Baccarat. Ooh, queen blocks the pin.
There's so much chaos on the board. I can't imagine having 18 seconds and looking at this complete chaos of a position where you have to keep counting how many pieces are threatening what.
Yeah, total mess. I fully agree. A queen exchange, and now maybe the winning move is pushing this pawn forward to kick away this black knight from the defense of its other knight. There's still an e-file pin here, and there we go. The black knights can't hold on to each other. The black rook has to drop, and Julien is surely going to win on time. But even if he doesn't, this pawn has got a clear run through. Lots of Julien Song fans in the chat. That's a double attack, a fork. The bishop drops off. 6 seconds for black. Julien keeps taking pawns. It's time to start pushing those pawns. The knight comes forward.
Oh, I don't want there to be some kind of weird checkmate with 2 knights.
Oh, watch out. Ooh. Probably you go towards the center. Safer. There we go. 3 seconds. He's dodged the checkmates. The knights can dance all they want. They will not be doing any damage. 3 seconds for black. This is great calmness, though, from Julien.
Yeah.
Just, pushing pawns. Time to make a new queen. 1 second left for black. When is that clock going to hit 0? The black king's moving in. I see some trader pawns now.
Oh.
And there we go. Julien wins, I think by resignation, but his opponent was about to flag.
Yeah, that was just in the nick of time that he managed to give up. So He is happy now that he has 2 points out of 4.
Ouais, j'ai dépassé 700 000 abonnés. Youhou! On a dépassé les 700 000 abonnés. Incroyable. Et en live, on a dépassé les 100 000 abonnés. 700 000 abonnés sur YouTube, c'est incroyable.
Did he just say that he passed a million subscribers live just now?
I think he passed 700,000.
I wish I was better at French.
700,000
okay.
followers
You're better
on YouTube.
than me.
I don't know. Maybe he's talking about 2600 rating on chess.com.
Oh, maybe.
Lots of big numbers when it comes to Julian Song. Huge following on Instagram, YouTube, of course, and pretty decent chess.com rating.
Yeah, and he says that he wants to bring chess to the French-speaking world. So he was, of course, speaking in French. The players now have a short little break, which I remember when I was playing, like I had to run to the bathroom. Like you don't have time to do anything because it's just so like round after round after round. Like sometimes you only get like a 20-second break between the games. So the players should use this time to reflect a little bit and now they need to get serious because a lot of the best players are left with 4 points and they're going to start meeting each other now.
Exactly. It looks like only 15 players still on 100%. As only those 15 can get the 11 out of 11, the Bobby Fischer score, as they call it in the US, because he did that once in a classical tournament in the US Championships. And of course, that's what we want to see as well. But we did see Bortnik lose, one of the favorites. Jan-Christoph Duda lost his game. And Muradli, a rating favorite, losing as well. So the top seeds are dropping, just like they are in the World Cup.
Okay, but we are ready for the little break that we have after round 4.
Here we go.
All right, and let's also take a look at some of the highlights, the action replay presented by our presenting partner, Lovable.
And it was a game between Magnus Carlsen and one of Africa's strongest players, Rakoto Maharo. And we jump in at an equal position just as it starts to turn for Magnus, whose rook gets round the back and starts winning some pawns. The clocks were both dropping quite low here. Magnus was definitely looking nervous. He'd stopped talking at this point, fully focused on the chess itself. He starts giving some checks with his rook. But eventually it was a story of passed pawns. And Magnus's pawn, just highlighted there, the pawn on the edge of the board, started running through. It soon became a queen. It was able to trade off some of Black's pieces. And there we go. Magnus took the win. His opponent just down to 1 second when the game ended.
Yes, so that was our today's action replay by the presenting partner, Lovable. And we can take a look at how they are doing on the standings. We see Niemann, we see Magnus, we see Hikaru. The big names, they have 4 points each.
Yeah, that's right. Alireza Firouzja, we saw him get the job done in the previous round as well. But other than those 4, we have some surprising names up there, some that I'm not so familiar with. Maybe we'll see some surprises. I don't think they'll meet each other yet, but maybe the fans out there all wanting to see Hikaru, Hans, and Magnus at some point face off.
And let's not forget to look at the country standings. The USA, obviously, with Hikaru and with Niemann, both at 4 points. They're doing very well. Norway, 12th place. I'm rooting for Norway. So the others, besides Magnus, are not having the best day today. Are there any other countries that stand out to you here, David?
Well, where's England? That's my big question. England are not on the top 20.
Where are you?
Countries.
You have to represent your country. Aren't you one of the best players in England?
I'm busy.
You're busy.
But yeah, I mean, it's great to see countries like Greece in 8th place right now. Every week they're coming kind of top 10 or thereabouts, despite maybe not being the world superpower that the likes of India and the US are. So nice to see Greece, nice to see Poland represented, always doing well. Argentina as well, not known for their chess as much as their football, but doing pretty decently.
And it's, as we can see here, a lot of different countries are represented, but it's the top 5 that are contributing to the country scores. And here we can see some of the players all over the world. We see Hans, Niemann, we see Julian, who's sitting next door to us here. We see the Team Liquid studio, and who do you think is the top left corner here?
Oh, that's got to be a streamer, right? Like there's some awards in the background. Someone's just there checking out Magnus's chair.
It's clear they're taking a break.
Exactly.
They're using the little break they have to get out of their chair. And Julian, he's still streaming, talking. What is he doing now?
He's rolling the opening dice.
Oh, rolling the dice. So he's going to decide what opening to play based on this dice roll.
And it's a 20-sided dice, since there are 20 possible opening moves for white and with black. And depending on Magnus's mood, he likes to choose his openings according to what the chess gods tell him. I don't know if Julian's doing that. If he is, fair play. He needs, maybe he needs to be told to play proper openings. But it's always fun to see players freestyle, right? I'm betting top left is Anna Kramling's setup.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Best guesses in chat.
No, it was Hikaru.
Oh, boo. I was wrong.
But that wasn't Hikaru's usual setup.
No, it wasn't.
We know his background. We know with the neon lights and the picture of himself and the pineapples and everything in his background.
Exactly.
So he's sitting somewhere else today. So that is interesting. But the players are getting ready for the 5th round, and now they're going to have to start playing against each other. It's usually round 5, round 6, when the big names have to start facing off. Because now there's only 15 players that have 4 points left. And we do get the new round, and we see that Magnus, he's playing against Golami. Hikaru playing as Durabaili, who is in the lead as well. So this is going to be a very intense round for many of the players.
Yeah, very, very important. Once we hit the second break, that's when we can start talking about who's going to come first. But in the build-up to the second break, these next 4 rounds, it's about jockeying for position, trying to stay on 100%. And Hans Niemann, we start with him. For the first time we see him in action, it's the French defense. And it could become one of the craziest variations of the French defense if Hans has the courage to push his pawn forward. Often the white queen comes out to start attacking pawns as well. And it gets a bit wild. But no, his opponent pushes a pawn. The queen does come out anyway, big threat, and the bishop goes home. This is very old theory that was first seen, I believe, in the 1950s. And Hans Niemann starts pushing some pawns forward. Let's see whether he can keep up his momentum. What a rating that is, 32-22. That is sky high. Hans Niemann, so dangerous at Blitz especially.
But he is playing against an 18-year-old Polish Grandmaster who also has a rating of 2,972, almost 3,000, who is not an easy opponent for Hans, who does have 4 points out of the 4 possible. And last week, he got 6 points in what was a very tough field. So this is a good opponent, but Hans obviously the favorite here.
Yeah, very, very interesting position as well we found ourselves in. Black slightly better already, apparently. Hans Niemann looking off to the side, not even looking at the board as he makes some moves. And Black now significantly better. Maybe it's because the white queen is going to be kicked to the side of the board. She's nearly trapped, only has 1 safe square to retreat to. But Hans looking confident in the meantime. Okay, maybe the black king is going to castle towards the left side just to try and seek safety over there. And the white queen has been kicked back. And what do we think here? Hans playing quickly, but questionable moves.
Yeah, and he's not talking. I mean, Hans has been known to do some streaming as well, but it doesn't seem like he's doing that now. Or if he is certainly very concentrated on the game in front of him. And finding good moves, making sure he doesn't lose his queen, taking this opponent seemingly very seriously.
Yeah, and big moment there. White could have potentially pushed a pawn forward due to a pin to try and kick away the black knight. But that option wasn't used by Hans Niemann. He just wants to keep the tension. Black pushes a pawn. Everything very, very solid on light squares. And okay, Hans, I see this being his strategy quite often in Tidal Tuesday. He just kind of waits, just as our feature chat says there at the top of our screens. Don't tilt the Tuesday. He just waits and waits and waits. Doesn't get tilted anymore. And he takes his chances when they come. And there we go. Black's king is castled very safely onto the other side of the board. With locked pawn structures, it tends to be a long, long game. So I wouldn't be shocked if this comes down to a big time scramble come the end of it.
And Hans has so far been using his time very wisely. He's had a lot of quick moves and is now advancing on the queen side where the king of his Polish opponent is located. It's like a war on both sides of the board. Who is going to be the first to attack?
Exactly. Who would you pick here? White or black? Which attack is more dangerous?
Oh, Oh, I always feel that the attack that is most dangerous is the one that is against me. So I would just, no matter who I was, I would be a little bit worried in this situation because an attack is incoming, no matter who you are.
So if you're white, you think black has the advantage. If you're black, you think white is better.
Yeah, basically. That is my negative way of viewing my games.
I know the feeling. I think all chess players were always kind of worried that the game ends in some sudden mate and it will go down in the history books. Your opponent will be telling their friends about it.
I think Malik is kind of, he seems to be retreating and defending his king and having a focus on that. So maybe he's thinking the same way as me that like, oh, this looks scary. I have to put all my pieces in defense. But now Hans actually locks the left side of the board.
Wow, that is very interesting from Hans Niemann. He's essentially arguing that this has given him one beautiful square that the white knights will have access to. Black gets a square as well, but black's knights can never land on this outpost here on the c4 square we're highlighting. Nothing can ever get there. There's no route forward. So although it is blocked, Hans Niemann is the only one who can ever open up that lock structure with his pawns a bit later. Maud, I think we're going to soon see, okay, maybe not after this move, but later see a king march over to the other side of the board where the king is safer before blowing open the right flank. This is very interesting now.
It's always fun when there are many king moves in a row, and Niemann can also find perhaps more safety on the other side of the board where the pawns are more locked. But the bar is saying that he's much better after this recent move by the Polish Grandmaster, the 18-year-old, who is aggressively trying to open the left side of the board.
Wow.
Sacrificing a pawn?
Yeah, maybe he's miscalculated here. Maybe he thought after a trade of knights that the black rooks could go hunting for that pawn. But as soon as the black bishop ever moves, there's going to be a nasty, nasty check.
Oh.
So that's going to be a fork. It's going to hit the black king, hit the black queen. You cannot get greedy really ever and win that pawn back. We are being told that Hikaru is in big trouble against Durabayli, the strong Azerbaijani grandmaster. But for now, it does look like it's good news for at least one American, Hans Niemann, with a big, big advantage as he brings his rook to stare down at this backward pawn that can never, ever move. There we go, a check, kicking the black king into the corner.
Oh, look at the rook and the knight in perfect positions now. And it looks like Niemann is just like squishing Malik, and he almost doesn't have any pieces that can move forwards.
Yeah, today's just been a tale of block structures, one side getting very, very kind of cramped, and the other side just trying to build up for the breakthrough. Look how the pieces flooding forward now for Hans Niemann.
And Sarana, who also had 4 points before this round, has lost his first game against an international master, so a small upset there. Sarana, who has also won a title Tuesday in this season and won many times before the format was changed, so he's probably quite disappointed that he has lost this fifth round.
Yeah, tough times for Alexei Sarana, and losing with white today in the World Cup. That's going to be heartbreaking to Jose Martinez. He's got to win on demand tomorrow. He was probably hoping for a confidence boost in this tournament.
Yeah.
But not so far. As Hans Niemann just going round in circles, he's trying to eat time off his opponent's clock. This is very good advice for everyone at home. If it is a block pawn structure, don't rush. Just play quick moves, keep improving your pieces. Eventually, your threats will tell, and your opponent might be losing time on the clock. And there we go. Desperation from Jan Malek. He gives up a pawn. That can be taken in a couple of different ways. Probably it should be this pawn taking, but now black's trying to seek some counterplay on the other side. Hans switches his attention. Very, very two-sided black's problems here. On the king side, queen side, everything. And white's bishop is coming in. White's now a pawn to the good. And the clock as well, playing such a big role in all of the games we see today.
Yeah, and it's really the players who have mastered this 5 minutes, no extra time per move, no increment as we call it. Those players get paid off really well because they know how to, they know how important the clock is. And once you're down to 24 seconds, you're never getting that time back. And so Hans, he knows that every second is valuable. He needs to keep his tempo high. Even when he has 2 minutes left, he is pressuring his opponent on the clock.
Yeah, his opponent's defended very well here, Malek. Like, he's going to put his knight in front of one pass pawn. We see him appear finally. And it's just Hans Niemann's other pawns that are going to do the damage. The H and the G pawns pushing forward. And there we go. It is a blunder. Eventually, a knight sacrifice by Malek. That might just be resignation. Down a bishop now with white's pawn still marching. That pawn will cost black his rook. Hans, he hasn't needed to step out of second gear here, but now he is upping the tempo. And he's going to win in just a minute or so. There we go, the clock running out to 0. Malik runs out of time. Hans Niemann takes the win.
A loss for Forever Young, as he is called on chess.com. Good name for Malik, but sadly not the best result. But still, he has 4 points. And here we see Hikaru has a minute left against Durabaili. And what do you think of this position, David?
Ooh, it should be a draw now. Durabaili would never, ever lose this with 1 minute on his clock, but 20 seconds.
Oh.
Hikaru might try and flag. Black's now a pawn up, 2 versus 1. And Hikaru's messed it up. Now the black king is going to come. The black pawn is going to trade off. And this is a winning endgame because the white king is so far away.
Oh.
The black rook should have gone across the board. It's well known in these positions, but I just think he has no time, Durabaili. And now he might have to agree to a draw. There we go, rook trade. Hikaru bails out, gets the pawn. And it is peace at the end. But Hikaru so close to winning on time. Durabaili so close to winning on position.
Yeah, they're both disappointed from this result. So that means that Hikaru no longer has 5 points. Let's see how Magnus is doing. We just managed to see that he won his game. He was massively better. He had way more time. Magnus has now 5 points. He has an 100% score. He's very happy with that. And how many other players are going to have a perfect score? It's Niemann, Firouzja, Shimanov, and Yihan, the international master who was able to beat Sarana. So there's a lot of tough opponents, but not many people left on the perfect score yet. And Magnus is eating as fast as he can between his rounds, trying to get some energy because he'll need it for the next half of the tournament.
Yeah, that's clear. But 11 out of 11 still on the table. I wonder whether we can jump into Julian Song. It's a mad time scramble over there. They've both got seconds left. Look at this, 5 seconds versus 5 seconds. Julian has an extra rook. He's totally winning. Can he win in time? The pre-moves. He's got to remove the white rook, take it off, take the white pawn. He's going to be safe. He can't lose, but can he win? Can he deliver checkmate? Look at the clock. And he wins on time.
Wow.
Ah putain. Ah là là. Ah, je suis choqué. Oh là là. Oh là, j'ai vécu 10 000 émotions là. Oh là là, c'était horrible. Ah, putain, on a gagné.
Wow. Well-deserved win there for Julian Song. Nice to catch the end of that game. He took down a very young opponent. And someone rated very highly, 2750 on chess.com.
Wow. It's so impressive to have like the reaction skills in these like final moments and how creative the players are when they're doing these pre-moves, trying to kind of sabotage the opponent's pre-moves by doing unexpected stuff. You really need some really good reaction time, so that was impressive. And they've already started the next round. He doesn't get a moment of break. He just manages to laugh and then bam, we're going to the next round. And Magnus is playing against Shimanov, both of them with 5 points.
Exactly. Julian Song showing great reaction time in his game. Now we have to show great reaction time by getting back into the chess here in round 6. It's the King's Indian defense. That means that the black bishop sits in front of the black king. This is a very counter-attacking opening. You can pretty much pre-move the first few turns for black. And here we see Magnus go for what we call the same-ish variation. White putting the connect 4 pawns on light squares here. That's a rock-solid center. It's going to be hard to break down, but Shimanov's going to try and chip away at those pawns a bit later. Anyone wondering why bishop takes pawn is bad? That's because the black knight will jump out the way, and there will be a nasty queen check. And that pawn now moves out of the way. This is such a key game. They've faced each other many times, including famously when Magnus arrived 2.5 minutes late in the World Blitz Championship. That was against Shimanov.
Oh, nice. And Shimanov, he has participated a lot in Title Tuesday, and he's actually doing quite well in the total overall standings because he has a 7th place and a 5th place. So he's gotten some points. He has 5 points. He's one of the players who perhaps most desperately needs a really good result to climb into the top 10 and really be in contention to qualify for the Esports World Cup. So this is important for him, and he has his opportunity now. He has 30 seconds more than Magnus on the clock out of the opening. It's a good start.
Very good start. And the eval bar says it's been a good opening here for black. Normally computers like white's structure. They love this far advanced pawn. But Magnus, what's he doing there? He just brought his bishop forward, to this square. Then he's just retreated it back where it came from. Magnus losing a full tempo there, and this bishop gets in the way of his knight. It feels like Magnus not playing the best moves in the opening, now bringing his knight to the edge of the board. Wow, offering it to be traded. This is huge commitment from the world number one. He's doubled his own pawns with that little transaction. Now he can push back the black knight from the center, but that would come at the cost of weakening his structure even more. He castles. And I'm going to say this is very, very risky stuff. Shimanov is a very, very dangerous attacker when given the opportunity. So Magnus has basically invited him forward. There we go, pawn pushes. Magnus's king is going to haunt him for the rest of this game. If Magnus can keep control, maybe it won't be the end of the world. But I do fear for him. Shimanov has got to be very happy with the outcome here.
Oh, wow. Maybe he's seeking revenge because Magnus did win that game when he came really late to the game, right? Even though he only had like 30 seconds left.
He did. I think his opponent was slightly put off, slightly disturbed by that. Probably the cameras as well there, just locking in on the dramatic moment. But Shimanov, he still has an extra few seconds here, but the position, yeah, he's got everything you want when you play this opening. You've got active squares, active knights, weak opposition king. The black queen can come forward later on. Probably not yet. It might get trapped there, but it might try and jump. This is very, very dynamic stuff.
What do you think Magnus thinks about this position? Let's try to hear what he says.
This I was initially not convinced by. It's called...
He seems to be taking it very chill.
Yeah. I think he's trying to focus as much as he can because he knows he's playing someone super strong, blitz specialist, and he knows it's a crazy position. Like all of White's pawns, by the way, are isolated or doubled. I mean, other than this one, which sticks out a bit, it looks like a nice strong pawn, but that one's probably safe. Everything else is vulnerable. Queen and knight combo near the white king. It feels
one
shaky.
of the ugliest king structures I've ever seen. Like these three pawns that are in no way coordinated, a double pawn on the edge of the board, like, can it get any worse than that?
Oh, good question. Oof, Magnus, he needs to find some good moves. But first, his opponent is potentially wondering whether to sacrifice. There is the idea of taking this bishop off the board just to get the black knights access to all the dark squares. I think that's the type of move you want to play instinctively. But it takes a lot of courage. Down to 2.5 minutes now, Shimanov. Maybe the clock is going to be Magnus's biggest weapon in this crazy-looking position. And there we go. He plays the move I suggest, and the bar hates it, of course. I'm going to say it's one of the most natural moves, the most tempting moves, but it shouldn't be enough compensation for the rook for bishop sacrifice. Black's knights look like beasts. They look so strong.
But look, imagine how cool you feel when you just sacrifice an exchange against Magnus, and then you have two knights. You're going for the attack. I mean... I would do it just for show.
Exactly. He wants to be in the history books. He wants this game to be in the magazines. But it shouldn't be enough, probably because the white rooks are just going to defend really nicely. They're going to hold the white king position. Maybe the white bishop just drops back to keep everything nice and protected. I guess a rook is a rook, right? Like, better than those knights long term.
The viewers are also equally disappointed as me that Magnus is drinking from a normal water glass. Normal glass and not his usual vase. Other than that, I would say the office that he's playing from, 10 out of 10. I like the jerseys behind him. I like the lighting. It looks cool, but we miss the vase.
Is that a Captain America jersey in there?
Yeah, I was wondering.
And yeah, Magnus playing for Team Liquid should now be winning. The black rook moving across is apparently a big blunder in this position, and white has a winning move if he spots that he just takes this pawn. There we go. It was a free pawn on offer. It's not even a sacrifice. The white bishop protects it, and some tactics in the air. Black's now counterattacking against the white queen, and the big question is how to deal with this. Does the white queen just shift up one square, keep herself nice and safe? That looks like the most effective. Hikaru is one, leapfrogging Magnus, but Magnus still has a chance to go above if he wins this game. Queen trade, he's trying to force the queens off since he's done the hard work. He's still up a rook for a knight. This looks like a great decision by Magnus. Queen takes pawn, met by a nice bishop block.
And we can also see that Hikaru has won his game and therefore now has 5.5 points, inching closer to the lead, but Magnus can leave Hikaru behind if he wins this game. Magnus almost has a minute extra on the clock. He's trying to trade the queens, and he has more material. it seems to be going in his direction. Magnus is headed towards 6 points.
Yeah, he's so close now. I don't think he's going to mess this up. There are some tactics. Knight takes pawn looks like the most tempting move in the position, to my eyes. But you have to reckon with Black's knight taking this pawn at some point. That would be a fork on the 2 white rooks. You've got to calculate quite correctly. He's pausing. Very professional. I noticed the top players, they play as quickly as they can. As soon as calculation comes into the mix, they slow down. Can Magnus slow down much longer, though? There we go. He keeps his time advantage. Knight takes pawn, hitting the black rook. That comes with a check. So the black rook has to move. And what to do now? Wow, Magnus sidesteps with his own rook, hitting this black knight. Counterattack. That looks very, very strong. That black knight, if it moves, will drop the pawn on the edge of the board with a check. So Magnus does trade off those pieces. He's getting closer now. He brings his rook up, again hitting the knight, hitting this pawn. Shimanov down to 40-something seconds.
Ooh.
Probably not enough. Firouzja losing in the meantime.
Oh, wow.
Big developments on the leaderboard.
This is an important game, Magnus.
And there we go. He's going to get it. He's forcing the black bishop to give itself up to stave off checkmate. That will mean white is a rook up. Surely nobody battles on against Magnus in an endgame. A rook down. Shimanov does resign. Magnus takes the win, 6 out of 6.
Oh, wow. And I think that among the top players, there's only Hans Niemann. What is he doing? Why is he on his iPad? Okay, I think he was setting up some kind of camera or something there, and he is massively better. It's very important that he wins.
What has happened here? He's not got much time, Hans Niemann. He has a totally winning position.
Has he disconnected or something? No.
Is it Proctor?
Oh!
What's happened there?
Niemann, what is going on?
The problem is his opponent is totally lost and might not realize there are issues on Hans Niemann's side. If he can just play a move, maybe we'll see disconnection issues. Drama on the board of Hans Niemann, whose camera has disappeared.
Or is it the opponent that has disconnected? Because why would you spend this much time on one move?
Yeah, unfortunately it's a dead lost position. Rook takes knight will lend a mating attack, and you can't stop it. Hans Niemann's back.
He's back.
He's ready to pounce.
And it looks very chill to have only 30 seconds left.
Yeah. He's just delivering mates or winning the black queen. Rook takes knight is such a deadly sacrifice. His young opponent does play on. He moves the queen, but there we go. It's going to end in checkmate in just 2 more moves. King back, rook takes pawn, would have been over. Hans Niemann takes the win, but what was he doing there? Back to a time scramble in the meantime with Julian Song.
Julian is always offering us some entertainment, but he is, according to the computer, struggling in this situation.
Ooh, queen takes, will force the queen trade, and it's a cry of desperation from Julian Song. He knows he's about to be mated. His opponent has more than enough time. It's 2 queens to end the game.
Ah, je suis dégoûté, j'y ai tellement cru. À un moment, je l'ai retourné, là. Ah, c'est pas... Ah là là là, il a bien joué, putain.
La 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 la, that means oh no in French.
He said bien joué, so well played to his opponent.
Yeah.
But he knows he was close. I think just the clock disturbed him in that game, put him off. Oh well, so close.
You can't win every time scramble. But some of our players have won every game, and it's Magnus, it's Niemann, and it's Fiorito, who just beat Alireza Firouzja in an incredible upset. It's going to be very exciting. Do you think we're going to have Magnus against Hans now? Does it make sense with the colors?
Oh, they both had white in this last game. They'll both be black in the next one. I think it might be, there we go, Fiorito against Magnus. And wow, Hikaru against Hans Niemann. Maybe that's the one to follow.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a very fun game to follow. And Hikaru, who trails by half a point, it's very important that he catches up to the group if he has an ambition of winning this tournament. Which opening is he going to choose? He's eating and he's talking, but he is playing chess as well.
He's playing the salad gambit. And he brings his d-pawn out, brings his knight out, making those pieces levitate. He's been putting this pawn on this square on e3 in all of his white games so far, Hikaru Nakamura. He clearly has prepared this opening for his recent over-the-board tournaments. He's been playing it in a game we saw earlier today. He's now going to take this pawn back. And I'm not sure exactly what this is called. It's kind of a mix between the Colle system and a kind of normal queen's pawn opening. He brings his knight forward, loses time, and Hans Niemann is already much better after just 6 moves with black. This is very surprising. Hikaru is a bit distracted, it seems, laughing away as he attacks black's center. But these central pawns now look phenomenal. And Hans Niemann, if he can keep them intact, will have a long-term advantage. Hikaru's got to start chipping away now, or he might never get a chance to breathe and threaten these pawns. Great start for Hans Niemann.
And Niemann, he has won a Title Tuesday earlier in this season, Game Week 5, but besides that, he hasn't gotten any points. So he only has the 10 points from his one amazing tournament, and now could really be an opportunity for him to climb on the leaderboard and potentially get to the the Esports World Championship.
Yeah, this is bizarre play by Hikaru Nakamura. And I'm expecting now Hans Niemann to push forward in the center due to the fact his rook is backing up the center and potentially threatening the white queen. There are tactics in the air. When a rook stares down at a queen, you always feel a bit uncomfortable. And Hans plays the safer move, but loses some of his advantage. I've got to say, Hikaru playing one of the dodgiest openings I've seen in ages. But he probably is going to live to tell the tale. He's probably surviving here. Now the queen is hit and will just move out the way. And it's becoming more symmetrical. Hans probably not maximizing the edge there. Queen moves out the way.
It looks like Hans is taking it very chill, though, and he is developing all of his pieces. It seems like he's been making quite natural moves, and he seems quite unbothered by the fact that Hikaru chooses such a strange opening, and by the fact that Hikaru is eating and kind of all over the place right now.
Exactly. And there have been times when I've played matches online and you can see your opponent's camera.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't really want to look,
No.
right? Because it's just distracting. It puts you off and you don't know what to read into it. I don't think they see each other, but Hans must know that Hikaru is playing some weird stuff.
And maybe this is just me, but when I'm in like a Google Meet or something like that, I always look at my own camera and I'm always like, what do I look like right now? Which is certainly the last thing you need to be concerned about when you're playing in Title Tuesday, when you have 6 out of 6 points and you're playing against Hikaru Nakamura. So I think it's wise to keep the focus on the chess, because it would be discouraging to see your opponent just snacking and nodding their head.
That's true. That's true. I'm the same as you. I'm always checking out my own hair and whether my shirt is creased or not. But yeah, it does feel like Hikaru at some point will lock in and start focusing more on the chess with this rook trade now. He's just trying to get all the pieces off desperately. Next, he's going to bring his rook to the open file, try to force those pieces off the board. But Hikaru, he's playing very, very passively. And there was a case a couple of weeks ago when Hans Niemann, a few weeks back, when Hans Niemann did win the tournament, he was saying he knew that he would have good chances. Hikaru always playing for a draw against him. So there has been a bit of trash talking between these two in recent times, especially with regards to Title Tuesday. It does feel like Hikaru is playing for a draw here. So I do know what Hans Niemann means, as he therefore attacks the white queen and brings his bishop to the center. Hikaru needs to get this knight, there we go, back into the game. They're moving quicker than I can highlight.
And I'm wondering also if Niemann can also be a little bit affected by the fact that I have 6 out of 6 points, the 11 out of 11 on the 11th of the 11th month. It could all be possible for him. Hikaru, he's kind of given up that one. So maybe for Hikaru, a draw is okay. And then for Hans, he's like, no, I got to go for the 11 out of 11.
Yeah, it's got to be in his mind, right?
Yeah.
Like Hans is such a Bobby Fischer fan that he knows Bobby Fischer famously got 11 out of 11. He'll want to do it, especially in field with Magnus and Hikaru in it. He does drop his central pawn, Hans Niemann. I'm a bit surprised by that, but he can at will win this pawn on the edge of the board. There we go. He can take it with gain of time, hitting the white rook. Now Hikaru moves his rook out of the way. A bit surprised he didn't get tempted to take this knight off the board, doubling black's pawn structure. And the black knight retreats. People are excited about this game. It seems like this game will be dirty. Oof. Hopefully in a good way. And yeah, maybe that means it will come down to a time scramble.
But Hikaru has spent a lot more time than Hans so far. 2 minutes against almost 3.
Which way to take back? Hikaru, the black bishop might be coming in to win white's isolated pawn. If you take back with the queen. Oh, Hikaru does take with the queen, giving Hans Niemann a pawn for free. That is very, very strange from Hikaru. It's been a strange game.
Yeah.
And Hans is much better again. I think he can just take that pawn safely. And Hikaru is saying, hang on, what's happening now? I'm going to try and centralize my knight, but it's not enough. Black has 2 connected pass pawns and should be winning this game.
Let's hear what Hikaru says.
Wait, okay. This is 5. Oh, queen e5, g3. I'm going to go for it. This might not be right, but I don't really care. If it's wrong, it's wrong.
Okay, you think this might not be right, but I don't care. What kind of a mentality is Hikaru going into this game with?
Yeah, maybe he's just super chilled. He's in the candidates now, right? Like
I don't care.
Yeah, he literally doesn't care. Hikaru
Yeah,
Nakamura.
it kind of is his brand, but I don't believe him anymore. He can't say that he doesn't care about this.
Exactly.
Of course you care about this. This is one of your rivals in the Title Tuesday, and you don't want Hans to win.
A big rival in American chess circles now. And look at Hikaru dancing to the music. The calm before the storm, or was it the calm before the sandstorm? Apparently, Hikaru was listening to that earlier. He wins the pawn back, though. He capitalized on a mistake from Hans Niemann. This knight is only defended once by the black bishop. It's attacked twice. So Hikaru will win his pawn back. We might be headed towards a drawish endgame, but it's Hans Niemann with more time on the clock. Hans will not feature in the candidates. He will not feature in the World Championship cycle. He didn't make it there, but Hikaru will. Hikaru, can he save this game now? Looking confident, dancing away. Pawn takes knight will be met by bishop takes knight. And we're heading towards a draw. Okay, Hans Niemann makes it more complicated. I was wondering about this as well. Threatening some sneaky checkmating attacks. Queen takes pawn on the air. How to defend against that? The clock is getting desperate now for Hikaru Nakamura. It's getting to that moment in the game where you have to accelerate. And queen takes pawn was threatened, but he drops back his knight. Anything could still happen.
Really don't like a4 somehow, but rook d8, rook d8, or rook d8, rook d8, queen e1, b5, knight d2.
He is not talking as a person who has less than a minute left on his clock. He's like doing long calculations and explaining them. What is Hikaru doing? He doesn't have time for this.
Yeah, he doesn't have time, but he has found a way to win a pawn. And now he's up one pawn. He gives it back. It's a dead level endgame. Wow, Hikaru Nakamura, he has found a way towards a draw. I don't think Hans Niemann's going to be able to flag him. 49 seconds is enough in such a dead drawn position. We'll see the position repeat itself. White can move the bishop back and forth forever. And there we go. It is a draw, opposite color bishops. These two players cancel each other out. Hans Niemann can no longer get 100%.
Wow, and the only one that I think that can be able to have a perfect result then is Magnus, who is
bishop f6.
Currently
Knight c4,
more than a minute up on the clock, is much better according to the computer, and seems very chill in his analysis of this game.
Yeah, he had a big advantage when we jumped in. He still has an advantage, Magnus. It's because he has two pieces for a rook. Knight and bishop are worth more than just a rook, and both sides have a lot of pawns. It's now level on pawns, 3 versus 3. The knight is jumping, and there we go. White blunders into a fork. Magnus stretches, takes the win. Joaquin Fiorito is out of the 100% club. Magnus is the only one left.
Ooh, Magnus alone with 7 points, alone in the lead, ahead of Hans and Hikaru. And we can see Firouzja, who lost against Magnus's opponent that he just beat, is currently trying to get his revenge, climb back up into the top positions on the leaderboard.
He should be winning as long as he keeps one pawn left, Alariza Firouzja. It's rook versus knight, 2 pawns each. As long as black keeps one pawn, a potential future queen, he should be winning. But if Reza Mahdavi can trade off all the remaining pawns, rook versus knight in a pure endgame is a draw. The clock, though, tells the whole story. Mahdavi resigns Firouzja too fast.
And that means that Firouzja does get to 6 points, which brings him up into the top 10. But at the very top, we have Magnus alone, 7 points, closely followed by Hans Niemann, only half a point behind. Means that Hans, he can catch up if he wins against Magnus. But let's follow another time scramble with Julian. He's in this every single game.
He loves to play life on the edge here. He's totally winning. He has a queen versus a bishop and a rook. He's moving forward his pawns. He gives up one of the pawns. 4 seconds against 3 seconds. He slowed his opponent down there. It's a check. Take the rook. Take the rook. Now all he needs to do is promote again. Can he deliver checkmate? He's got 1 second left. Checkmate.
Yes, mais t'en savais. Ah là là, comment je l'ai maté sauvagement ce bâtard. Ah merde, putain. Ah là là. Ah putain, on est bien là. Ah là, on est bien là. Oh là là, c'était sauvage. Oh là là.
That's a lot of reactions from Julien, who is very happy that he manages to pull off a checkmate with less than a second left on his clock. I mean, he has bigger reactions to winning these games than these top players that are beating lifelong rivals. So I'm happy to see that it means that much to him to do well in his first Title Tuesday tournament. And look at the matchup we are getting in the next round. It's Magnus Carlsen versus Hans Niemann. This is going to be a good one.
This is going to be spicy. It's a game that we've seen a little bit in recent times, still not so much. Of course, they didn't play each other for a few years, but now to decide Title Tuesday, it feels like the winner here will be the favorite for the rest of the event. This is the final game as well before the second break. Momentum will be on the side of whoever wins. Magnus plays the 4 knights. This has a very drawish reputation. Still a lot of life left, but Magnus is going to trade off some pawns, bring his bishop out. Next, he's going to bring his queen out and try to take this knight, try to wreck the black pawn structure. Magnus is playing a safe-ish opening.
Do you think it's more important to him to win the entire Title Tuesday than it is to get the perfect 11 out of 11?
Oof.
Kind of depending on the situation that he's playing as Hans. Is he a little bit like, ooh?
Yeah, I think this opening has shown that Magnus just wants the tournament victory.
Yeah.
He's half a point ahead, and he knows that he'll stay half a point ahead with the draw. At least of Hans Niemann. Maybe others will make up some ground. But yeah, this opening has a very drawish reputation. Often opposite color bishops. The black bishop will come and trade itself off for the knight later on. And yeah, it's just whether Hans can hold his nerve here. It's going to be hard to beat the world number 1 with black from a position like this. Black's 2 bishops balanced out by the doubled pawns.
Let's see what Magnus says.
Bishop g4. Just not a chance I should have given him.
Oof. Super focused, Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah, he's not talking a lot. He's not talking as much as he usually does. In the other games, he's realized that this is serious. He's playing a safer opening than he might usually do. We've seen Magnus play completely crazy openings in Title Tuesday, but not against Hans. That's an opponent he respects a little bit too much to be playing whatever was voted for in the app today.
Exactly. There's a lot of honor, bragging rights on the line. And especially the fact that he's ahead in the tournament means that Magnus is keen to minimize risk. The last couple of moves for black have been a bit mysterious, moving the rook forward into the center and then bringing it back. But now we see the trade of bishop for knight, very likely at least. Bishop takes this knight is the most logical move, and we will see opposite color bishops. There's been an early draw on board 3. That's also good news for Magnus Carlsen. If he holds this game, draws against Hans Niemann, it means that he will maintain a decent lead over the rest of the pack. First, there was an attack on this pawn. The white king defended it. The white bishop drops back now. Still slightly better for white due to the better pawn structure. Black with the doubled pawns here. So something for Magnus to play for. It is his type of position as well. Grindy endgame.
And he has played very fast, but so has Hans. They both seem to kind of know where this game has been going the whole way so far. But Magnus does have a way more active king, and they do have opposite color bishops. So it will be interesting to see if any of them take any risks from this point out.
Yeah. I think especially for Magnus, he's kind of playing with house money here. It's like if everything goes wrong, probably you swap off rooks, you might be a pawn down and you can still draw. For Hans Niemann, if you go down a pawn in conjunction with these weak pawns, it feels like that might be too much. It feels like you might be tipping yourself over the edge there. Magnus shifting his rook across. Black had a chance, maybe a chance he could have taken, should have taken, to trade off rooks. Now this rook move, white might just dodge and say, no trade for you. It will not be opposite color bishops alone. Rooks on the board, there's still winning chances for both sides. As the black bishop drops back, what do you think? Is this going to be a draw that it looks like it should be, or are they both going to press for a win?
Oh, I'm wondering if they're kind of waiting it out a little bit. I feel like there are some things you can test. Oh, Magnus is actually offering a trade of rooks. I would take that as an admittance of drawishness.
Mm-hmm. I would too.
And it would be kind of cool now if Hans is like, hell no. Ooh.
Ooh. He keeps the game alive. We did see the bar say slightly better for white. Probably that just meant that rooks coming off, white can try for a while, but a draw. I think that was brave, Hans Niemann. But it might be brave that backfires, because the black king is going to get kicked back soon to a really bad square. Magnus can shift across to this side as well, hit a pawn. He actually just drops back. He's going to try and occupy this open line. And now the black rook has moved away. the white king, I joke about king of the hill, kings getting excited, moving up the board. That's the safest king in an endgame ever. Can never get checked. So active as well.
Oh, yeah, that is a good point. It's like a king on an outpost.
Yeah. If you could turn it into a knight, just remove or two, it'll be even better. But still pretty good, that king.
I'm trying to read Magnus's expression because he's played quite fast, but he's been kind of eating and not saying so much during this game. It seems like he's been really focused.
Seems a bit passive. Bishop c8 maybe? Bishop d7.
Wants to bring his bishop round. He's talking about bringing his bishop now to c8 to start dislodging the black rook. It's very shaky for Hans Niemann, who's kind of only defending with his rook right now. That's the only active piece. The other two are very, very tied up, holding pawns, but still should be fine, since black's rook doesn't allow the white rook to get into the game. Just as I say that, commentator's curse, Magnus is suddenly much better. He's forced the pawns to dart squares. This is good endgame technique. On dart squares, they're easily blockaded, and they also block in black's bishop. Black's bishop has no good stable outposts. The white bishop does, and it's massively better now for Magnus Carlsen. Still not obvious, but he trades rooks. He's going to try and run with his king later on towards the black pawns.
Oh. And Hans keeps the rooks on the board, but that does mean that that rook is kind of malplaced a little bit, like on the side of the board there.
It's very stuck, right?
Yeah.
It's got no good squares to go to. I'm expecting Magnus to drop his bishop back in the near future and then try to kind of slide over and just lock in the black rook. Hans pushes the pawn. Magnus now is massively better on the eval bar, almost winning. He pushes his pawn forward again. This is typical Magnus Carlsen. He loves putting a pawn as close to promotion as possible and watch that pawn become a new queen. Magnus's pawns usually do queen in endgames. Hans Niemann's almost out of moves. The black rook is going back. But now the bishop can slide forward to defend a pawn, and the white rook will be released to go pawn hunting. Magnus is on the brink of winning in what looked like a dead-drawn endgame.
And it doesn't seem like his reaction has been changing that much. It doesn't seem like he's not at Julian levels of reactions yet.
Yeah, he could learn a few things from Julian Song. I think Magnus might be #1 at chess, but Julian #1 at celebrations. As we see Magnus spend some of his time advantage. Hans Niemann hasn't done much wrong. Like, I can't fault a single one of Hans's moves, but somehow it's got from slightly worse to much worse to almost dead loss now. This is so hard when you play Magnus Carlsen in an endgame. You can kind of see it in Hans's face as well. The energy, the usual passion and anger that drives him isn't there. As the white rook comes in, Magnus hunting down the black bishop, which is actually almost trapped. That is classy play by Magnus Carlsen. That bishop lacks squares. If it drops back in either direction, the white rook will come down to the 7th rank. If white can win this pawn, it's just game over. That white pawn will promote. And I think the bishop just has to sit and defend it. Magnus might keep threatening that bishop, though. He can even sacrifice his rook for the bishop if that means the white pawn goes through. Also, ideas of the bishop dropping back, pawns hanging. That's a strange move, allowing the white rook to slide across now. Magnus Carlsen is going to dislodge that bishop. He's going to take a pawn, and he's about to make a new queen. So close to victory now.
Wow. And Magnus is still keeping his calm. The clocks have approached each other a lot. Magnus only has now about 30 seconds more than Hans, but at a certain point, he was up by more than a minute. So he's invested some time, but it seems like Hans is now starting to realize that this position is very good for Magnus.
Yeah, it's almost automatic as well for Magnus now. You just move your rook out the way, you push your pawn, and there we go. Hans Niemann doesn't want to suffer. He resigns. Magnus, 8 out of 8.
So we are in a great position, 8 out of 8. Let's look at Hikaru's game.
Yes, let's look at Hikaru's game, says Magnus, and let's look at how that is going. Looks like Hikaru is winning according to the eval bar at the top, but it's very closed off. How are the players even going to approach each other in this game?
Yeah, it's very blocked right now, and Hikaru's actually material down. He's actually down the exchange, a rook for a knight, but white rooks are not great. The black knight is beautiful, and I think Hikaru is just winning because the pressure on this pawn is going to tell. That pawn defended. Hikaru tries to break forward in the center. Now he swaps queens to get the pawns. Will he keep grabbing now, or will he give a check? He's trying to force it through, and suddenly it's turned around. Hikaru's worse. There's ideas of bishop takes pawn that Andrew Tang just missed to push the h-pawn forward. Hikaru realizes and runs back. That was a golden opportunity for Andrew Tang, and 18 seconds versus 18 seconds. Anything could still happen, even if Hikaru should have the better chances. Pawn pushing forward. Andrew Tang's the fastest man in the West. We know that, and Hikaru's blundered. He's trapped his own knight. He's relying on knight takes bishop, but after the king takes, the white pieces trap the black knight. And now it's rook versus knight. It's a winning position for Andrew Tang. All he needs to do is take that knight off the board. He could have taken the knight and pushed his pawns forward. He's totally winning, Andrew Tang. Can he do it? 7 versus 4. He's making a new queen. It's a check. Hikaru gives a fork, but the pawn drops. Andrew Tang's about to win this game. 4 seconds now. Checkmate. Guaranteed. And there we go. Andrew Tang, the penguin, takes the win.
Wow, one of the fastest players, the 2 fastest players that are really good at these pre-moves with few seconds left on the clock. But actually, it is Tang who wins this American battle. And that really affects the standings now that Hikaru loses another point and Magnus is alone, an entire point ahead of the rest of the field. And interestingly enough as well, Tabatabae, he actually didn't play the first round, so he's won every single game.
Wow.
But he just showed up too late or something.
I don't know if he gets the extra bonus point that we want to give players for getting 100%. Imagine if he wins everything, 10 in a row. That would be pretty cool. But he'd probably have to beat Magnus on the way, right?
Yeah. So now who's Magnus going to have to play against? There's Firouzja, there's Tang, many good players that are all an entire point behind him and therefore have a huge incentive to try to beat Magnus as well.
Yeah, it's unclear who he's going to play. Most of the players on 7 points just had the white pieces. So did Magnus. Magnus is due black. Oof, it's tough. I think he's going to play Firouzja. Normally, the highest rated player gets the upfloat. And yeah, Magnus might not have to face Hikaru anymore. But Firouzja is also going to be a dangerous opponent.
Do you have any predictions for what country is doing the best? I guess that's probably obviously the US when I look at the standings here. Who do you think is number 2? Any guesses?
Oof. I'll go for India. No.
Oh, it was Ukraine.
Not even close. India down at 10th.
Oh, and Norway has climbed to number 8, which means that the other Norwegian young players that are always participating in this tournament are doing a good job, in addition to Magnus, of course, who leads the tournament. So that makes me happy to see. And Ukraine, Iran, France, of course. We've seen a lot of French players today. So the country standings also interesting to pay attention to. And it's getting really tense now with only 3 rounds left.
Here we go.
And we've had some different highlights today, but my personal favorite so far has been looking at Julian's reactions, and we can take a look at some of those replays. In a little bit.
They're coming. Just like Julian likes to leave it last minute, right? We're going to do the same with the replays.
And it was some really fun reactions because he has had like so little time, so many times in a row now, where he's just like, there's a complete time scramble. It's just a race against the clock. He won one of the games with less than a second. Yeah. I don't understand how he's not more exhausted at this point after 8 games in this kind of vein.
Yeah, he's in good shape. You know, he's still young. Earlier when I met him, he was like, oh, you might not know me. I'm an old IM. I was like, dude, you're like several years younger than me. What's going on? And it's nice to see him. He's enjoying it. I think that's a big thing, right?
Yeah.
Title Tuesday, not everyone can win. Not many people do end up beating the likes of Magnus and Hikaru. But I mean, there's hundreds of people in the field. That must mean they're enjoying it. They're playing for fun. And good results tend to come to those who are happy.
And also when you play several times, like Andrew Tang, it's very interesting to see like how he has played so many Title Tuesdays now, and then finally he kind of gets rewarded with a win against Hikaru in such an important game. But now we're going to have a little look at some of the highlights that have been so far, and this one, Hikaru versus Hans.
Yeah, and what a game this could have been. It was Hikaru taking big risks early on. A bit of a dodgy opening from Hikaru Nakamura. He lost a pawn at some point. He was actually a pawn down until this mistake from Hans Niemann, allowing the white knight to jump forward and capture. There we go. A counterattack against the black knight. Hans Niemann, probably, we see his reaction there on the camera, realizing the advantage had disappeared. And this could have been very important at the top of the standings. Hans Niemann was on 100%, but ultimately had to settle for a draw. And I don't think either player was happy about that result.
And here we see some of the players that are getting ready for their last 3 rounds. We have Anna Kramling, Hans Niemann, Julian Song, Magnus Carlsen. These are 4 of the biggest names in chess.
They literally are, right? Some of the biggest streamers, some of the best players. Hans Niemann, yeah, he's maybe world champion potential someday. Magnus is now doing a Hikaru and eating. But yeah, nice to see everyone getting in on the act, showing how big Title Tuesday is becoming. This is still the first split, the autumn split, towards the end of it now, but everyone getting in and having some fun.
And a lot of them are talking to the cameras, but one person I'm noticing is not streaming is Hans. He's been completely quiet and he's just playing kind of for himself. It shows how seriously he's taking it. And he streams quite a lot. So the fact is that today his focus is on performing well. And he does have now 7 points chasing Magnus. Let's get ready for some more action.
Oh, he should have focused earlier maybe because he did let his advantage slip, but he's winning again suddenly, Hikaru Nakamura, and it's all to do with a skewer along this line. But nope, he's dropped the advantage back. Sees his opponent give up a rook, and there we go, Hikaru wins. Oh, Alireza, he's let his opponent back in. Has he? If queen takes queen, knight takes rook is a check. And black will take back the queen next, having profited. 4 seconds against 3 seconds. He slowed his opponent down there. It's a check. Take the rook. Take the rook. Now all he needs to do is promote again. Can he deliver checkmate? He's got 1 second left. Checkmate.
Yes! Comment je l'ai maté sauvagement, ce...
And that is like the best reaction we've had all day. I mean, he's not leading the tournament, but it would look like it if you just saw those images. So it really means a lot to Julian, who's playing for the first time today and in our Take studio or in the neighboring room. But Magnus, he's in the lead, but he's chased by a whole sea of really good players. And now he's going to have to start facing some of them.
Exactly. He's going to have to face the likes of Alireza Firouzja, one of his biggest rivals, of course, Andrew Tang. Can't be underestimated. Just took down Hikaru. Andrew lost in round 2, has been on a winning streak ever since. Like you said, Tabatabai hasn't lost a game so far, other than by default in round 1. And Simonenkov is super young, super tricky. It's going to be Firouzja who takes on Magnus. Will he take him down? That's the big question.
And will Magnus... He still has the opportunity to get 11 out of 11, so that must be something that motivates him when there's only 3 rounds left. And here we see the 2 of them are ready for this battle. It's very important for Firouzja to win. If he wants to win the tournament, he needs to catch up to Magnus and equalize their amount of points.
Okay, and we start with a transposition into the Catalan opening. This is a branch of the Queen's Gambit declined. And Magnus brings his bishop out to a very active square. This is trendy stuff. All the top players play the Catalan opening these days. It was popularized in the 90s, early 2000s by the likes of Boris Gelfand. Now everyone plays it, including Magnus with the white pieces. So it's known as a positional opening. Firouzja normally a bit more aggressive. Interesting that he swaps sides here and plays this opening with white. He's going to try and build a big pawn center. Magnus is going to try and fight against that by bringing out his knight, centralizing his rook, and maybe striking and challenging black in the middle of the board. This is going to be feisty. This is going to be a lot of fun. Still all pieces on the board.
And Firouzja has played very quickly in this opening. And he seems to be very confident as well.
Yeah, he's confident, I think, by nature. Alireza always has been. He grew up learning chess pretty much just by playing online, and you can see that in his style. You can see it in his preferences. He's looking away. I wonder whether he's streaming as well. And there we go. He takes the black bishop off the board. So black gets a nice pawn structure, but white gets the bishop pair. There's a bit of a trade-off here. Black's going to stare down at these hanging central pawns with his rook, maybe with his queen. I think Magnus will like this position. Slightly better even on the bar. I didn't even see that. I just thought, okay, weak pawn. And Magnus is going for it now.
Let's see what Alireza says about this.
Maybe I want to put it on YouTube, then it's a lot of mess to work around.
Okay, Alireza, you need to be concentrated about your position because Magnus is slightly better according to the eval bar. He's threatening a pawn. And Alireza, he's yawning. He's talking about some kind of YouTube stream. What is he doing? He needs to be focused.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I struggle to multitask. Whenever I stream, I can't play chess. Whenever I play chess, I can't stream. Alireza looking away. Yeah, he has to be really careful. He dodges the tension on that line, but queen takes pawn now would drop this pawn to the white bishop. Maybe still desirable for Magnus Carlsen, but there are weak pawns all over the place. And Firouzja does need to perk up, does need to wake up before it's too late, before Magnus gets a bigger advantage. Queen takes pawn was played, his queen is hit, and Magnus will now likely move to the edge of the board.
And it looks like Magnus is quite comfortable. That's at least how I'm interpreting his kind of chill way, and that the fact that he's talking when it's not even his turn means that he has a lot to discuss here, but he's making his moves quickly and centralizing some of his pieces now.
Yeah, that's a great move there. The bishop in the center is well in control of half of the board. The black knight might also enter the center in the near future. White has the bishop pair, but this light squared bishop is very much neutralized by its counterpart in the middle of the board. And Magnus has the 2 versus 1 pawn advantage on this side. This pawn for white is isolated as well. So we'll see. Long-term black is doing great. Short-term white should be okay. Just has to be quite quick to guard the black knight coming forward. Magnus a little bit up on time.
Especially against me. Okay.
All we heard was especially against me. Magnus is very aware that he is the best player in the world, and he had some comment to Firouzja there. Oh, and Firouzja actually tries to go for a queen trade, which we've seen many people kind of lose because of earlier in this title Tuesday. But it's actually Magnus who decides, nope, we're keeping the queens on the board.
Yeah, maybe that's what he was saying. That's brave to try and go into an endgame, especially against me. Like positions that are playable for others. Like if Firouzja's playing me, swapping the queens is probably a good idea. If he's playing against Magnus, maybe it's a terrible idea. The top players, they play the best moves, or they try to, but they also try and play moves that the opponents find uncomfortable. So very interesting insight into Magnus's mind. The white bishop, we've seen so many bishops sitting on this square in the round today. It's a really bad piece, but it's out of harm's way for now. And Magnus is going to start jumping with his knights towards the other flank. Whoa, look at these weird bishops. It's as if they forgot to develop. It's as if he's playing freestyle chess here.
It's the worst bishop pair I've ever seen.
Big statement.
Twins.
I agree. Oh, those poor twins. They can't get out.
And look at all of Magnus' pieces in comparison. They're in the middle of the board. They have places to go. And he has an extra pawn on the left side of the board, which maybe he can use to potentially create some passed pawn. It feels like Magnus has a lot of different ideas he can use here, while Firouzja kind of has to respond to those ideas.
Yeah.
And that's never the most fun way to play.
And there we go. There was a knight trade. I'm very surprised Magnus allowed that trade on white's terms. And although white does have doubled pawns now, that's a very important tempo that Firouzja gets to develop his bishops. I'm expecting him to push this pawn forward in the near future, and white's dart squared bishop might actually come to life on the longish diagonal here. And there we go. He does push his pawn forward. This is a very nice move to protect the white king as well on the diagonal. And suddenly, Magnus, look at that face. Doesn't look so happy anymore.
Decided. That's annoying. Like, this knight is... Sorry, not this knight, but this mouse is so sensitive.
Did he do a mouse slip? Is that what he was just admitting? That's so annoying. The mouse is so sensitive?
Maybe. He also kind of did a Freudian slip, right? He said the knight, because the knight wasn't great either.
Yeah.
The knight was misplaced. So maybe not enjoying the fact that this knight is about to get kicked away by white's pawn, but also annoyed about the mouse. It's important at this level. And there we go. The black queen moves, and Magnus has blundered. Magnus has let things slip. What is the punishing move?
Very serious trouble here.
Big trouble. The pawn is hit. The knight is hit. What can Magnus do?
Yeah, I've gotten outplayed. It's as simple as that.
I've gotten outplayed. It's as simple as that. What a resigned Magnus we suddenly see. He was doing so well. What happened here?
Yeah, he just lost control. He got a bit tilted, a bit triggered about the mouse situation and about the knight situation. If he goes back with his knight, which is the only safe square for that piece, then the white queen is going to come up 2 squares, offer a queen trade, and it's going to be very difficult for black to hold the balance there. Firouzja looks so locked in. It feels like a lifetime ago that Firouzja was looking off to the side, talking about YouTube.
Yeah.
Now look at him. He senses
It's time to concentrate, he says. he locks in.
He smells blood. Magnus has given up a knight in the meantime. He's got a couple of pawns in return, but they're so far away from marching. It's more about the white king, potentially vulnerable on the back rank.
Magnus also has gone quiet now. He's kind of concentrating. Less than a minute left.
Ooh, he's desperately trying to force a draw now, Magnus, but that will not be agreed to. Winning position for Alireza Firouzja. Magnus's pieces just don't coordinate. The black rook is so passive, and black's pawns are not anywhere at all. All it will take at some point is for the white queen to go and kick away the black rook from the blockade. Oh, but apparently lets it slip. Alireza Firouzja, he went too fast with his pawn. He put it on a vulnerable square. And now, can Magnus save himself by taking this pawn off the board? He does. He's back in the game.
Oh, and Niemann has gotten a comeback, so he has 8 points now. Could catch up to Magnus if Magnus loses. Magnus is still not totally in the clear. Firouzja still has an extra bishop. They're both down to a minute left on the clock. Wow. 7.5 points, I mean, to Niemann.
Yeah, and still a crazy position where anything can happen, especially with the clock situation. Magnus has 2 pawns for the bishop right now, so he's down on material, but the white king is also open. The white pawn in the center is isolated and vulnerable. Magnus is saying, you can repeat, you can draw if you want. I don't care about my 100% anymore. I just want to survive in this game. And moment of truth, will Alireza continue checking? Nope, he brings his queen up. But be careful, Alireza, you're 10 seconds down and counting.
But he's so good in these final seconds. Do you think he's better than Magnus, even with this clock situation?
I think normally, but it's such an easy position to play with black, right? You just give checks. And look, black's better already. He's starting to pick off the white pawns. Firouzja wincing there. He's getting checked all over the place. And Magnus now has 3 pawns for the bishop. He's no longer material down. Firouzja needs to get out of here. Magnus, is he going to play? No, he doesn't take the draw. He doesn't repeat. He's playing for the win.
The day. Queen f3.
Wants to get his queen to the square. He's trying to bring it in.
4. Yeah, but I'm never getting mated here, am I?
Bold statement from Magnus.
Bold statement. He says that he's never going to be checkmated, and he keeps playing, trades off some pawns. Now it's Magnus who has some passed pawns that he can try to get to the other side of the board. Ooh. 4 pawns against the bishop.
Wow, Magnus is a huge favorite now. He just needs to get the queens off, and the 4 pawns will overwhelm the bishop. A bishop can stop 2 or 3, but not all 4. And look at this, Magnus has got the queens off. He just needs to push them all in tandem, not to rush forward. Use the king. Magnus Carlsen is going to win this game surely now. He leans back. He's very confident. He's pushing those pawns. The white bishop nowhere near. Magnus just needs to push. He's making a new queen. He's going to be on 9 out of 9. Firouzja down at 4 seconds. A queen appears. Checkmate guaranteed. Magnus wins.
The difference with the EWC is that there I was usually doing well on the board as well, but here I was actually lost, I think.
So he thought he was lost, but he did manage to win. Alireza Firouzja looks quite shocked at what happened, because that was a game that was quite the roller coaster. And Magnus alone in the lead. He's up by 1.5 points with 2 rounds to go. I mean, this is the dream situation for Magnus, and he still has the possibility to get 11 out of 11.
Like, I think we were just joking about it right before the tournament. We were just saying it happens to be the 11th of November. It happens to be game week 11. What are the chances? But we're close. We're 2 games away. And Magnus will play Andrejkin, who he has beaten in previous weeks in recent times in Title Tuesday, as he aims to close in on 10 out of 10.
Ooh, but that's a tough opponent, and an opponent that really needs to beat Magnus to be able to not even catch up, but at least make the distance a bit smaller. So Andrejkin has a lot to play for here, and Magnus, with the white pieces, doesn't get any breaks really before he has to play his first moves.
And here we go. It's the C3 Sicilian from Magnus Carlsen, known as a safe-ish opening. In recent rounds, he's been going for something a bit safer. It tends to get crazy towards the end. It's guaranteed at this top level where nobody's going to bow down and let Magnus just beat them. But his openings have been on the safer side. Magnus, he's been playing a lot of e4 today since our chat, our Instagram poll voters did go for 1e4. Magnus has been playing that most games with white. And here we see the main line where black's going to push a pawn forward. White has a bit more space. White has the furthest advanced pawn, but black is rock solid. If Magnus wins this, our chatter at the top there might get his wish. It might be Magnus Hikaru in the final round. Even if Magnus draws this or loses it, he'll still be in the lead. As we see an early offer of a queen trade. I think Magnus will probably reject that. Even if he loves his endgames, will Magnus take? Nope, he drops back. And Dmitry Andreikin forces the queens off the board. This is still very well-known opening theory. I'm wondering how much both sides know about this. Bishop takes pawn is now a very forcing line that allows the black knight to jump in and trap this white rook in the corner. Has Magnus studied this? He spent a lot of time. Dmitry Andreikin seems to know what he's doing. To the 1990 crowd fighting out on top board here.
And Andreikin, he has played every single title Tuesday in this autumn split. All 10 of them, and now his 11th one. His best placements have been 2 third places. So he's gotten quite a lot of points. He's doing well on the leaderboard, but it would be great for him to get even more points to increase his chances of going to the Esports World Cup. And it's also fun to see Magnus playing in his Team Liquid shirt, which he also played in Riyadh.
Yeah, seems to be his lucky shirt.
Yeah.
I wonder whether he's washed it since or whether he doesn't want to wash the luck away. And, okay, black's a piece up. Magnus sacrificed a knight, but this piece in the corner should get trapped, and there we go. He starts sipping some water, and he's now ready to move his knight out the way and just gobble up that cornered piece. Magnus likely to be a pawn to the good when the dust settles. I'm very surprised Andreikin's gone on for this. It's an endgame, and you're down a pawn, and you're facing the greatest endgame player of all time. Magnus does look good for 10 out of 10.
I love watching Magnus, is what a viewer is saying. It's been fun today to see Magnus in the zone, but also it was interesting in this previous game that he almost lost, but he kind of kept his cool. I'm really wondering how disappointed Magnus will be if he doesn't manage the 11 out of 11, provided the situation he has on the board right now.
Exactly. And I know some new fathers who talk about brain fog. Once they get a kid, it goes all foggy. But Magnus, he's a new dad, and he seems to keep winning still. Now, big hit on his bishop. I don't think White wants to allow this bishop to be captured. Maybe this pawn is going to drop either way. So I'm expecting maybe Magnus, there we go, to go grab a pawn in the process. Not the best move according to the engine. The eval boss saying slightly better only now for Magnus, but very, very sensible. Risk-free for Magnus Carlsen right now. He's a pawn up. And even if he drops back this extra pawn, he shouldn't be in too much danger. It's up to Dmitry Andreikin to try and equalize this game. It's not going to be easy. And nice to see, like you said, that Andreikin's played every single week. Consistency is important in life and chess.
Yeah, and especially for the total standings, because even you have to try to collect as many good placements as possible. Your 8 best placements in the 13 weeks that make up a split. And Andreikin certainly has gotten he's used all of his chances to get as many good placements as possible. Magnus, who has won the tournament twice and is the only one to have done so, naturally then leads. But it's also important to try to participate every single time to get as many points as possible.
Yep. I think it's just impossible to be perfect for 13 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
So at least if you play 13 weeks, you can have 5 off tournaments. You can have 5 subpar performances and still rack up some big points, qualify for the EWC. We heard Bortnik say it was his dream. And I think a lot of players dreaming of already getting to next year's edition, where there's huge money on the line, as well as a lot of excitement, lots of bright lights at that tournament. Bishop trade offered. I think Andreikin will probably have to take that piece. He's thinking about it. If he moves his rook, it is a big blunder, and Andreikin has blundered a piece here after a bishop trade, which I think Magnus is going to go for now. The white rook just needs to move, and there are some huge back rank problems for black. Look at him. He's realized on the camera, Dmitry Andreikin. Oh. He's realized, he knows it. Magnus is now going to win a piece and the game.
I was hoping for some cheer from Magnus there, but...
Yeah, this seems to be just rook b8 mate next.
He was very chill in his way of describing it. Seems like it doesn't even come as a surprise to Magnus at this point.
Yeah, he's just in that mood. And look at Andreikin, the pain on his face. He's blundered this knight retreat. That knight move is the key. The black knight is paralyzed, cannot run away because, as Magnus says, back rank mate. That is a nasty sting in the tail. Tactics all working in white's favor. And one of the 2 white pieces will now just pick up this knight. this should be it. Knight takes knight is the cleanest. And he'll just drop back his other knight, break the pin. He's going to defend his rook. The other knight is free now to move. And that will surely lead to resignation. A whole minor piece up. And Magnus, 10 out of 10. He's one game away from a historic full house, 11 out of 11. And Draken resigning.
And it really motivates me to see that even the best players in the world can mess up back rank mates and kind of step into those kinds of tactics. But Magnus seems to be very chill. And let's jump into the game where it's Jan-Krzysztof Duda who has actually caught up to the field after a quite disappointing start from him. And we've got Hans Niemann, who's got a lot more time on the clock, but a way worse position according to the bar.
Okay, very interesting here. White has a lot more material, but black does have some big threats.
Yeah.
Pawn is in the air, be careful. Duda needs to dodge that because of the black bishop's stare down against the white king. The white king does jump off the diagonal. He is the exchange down though, Hans Niemann, rook for bishop. And if white is able to dodge any checkmating ideas, white will switch the attack onto the black king. The rook will slide across and there's serious pressure along this open line. Hans doesn't look so optimistic, runs back with his rook and okay, that's the beginning of the end. If you have to go back when you're attacking, it never tends to work out.
And Niemann, doesn't matter that he has 2 minutes on the clock. He seems quite upset.
Yeah, it was such a good tournament for Hans until he ran into that endgame against Magnus. Unfortunately, getting ground down there, he's lost a bit of momentum. He almost got the win against Hikaru as well. But here we go, the white rooks are coming in. Whoops, bishop takes pawn, looks like a nice trick, but Duda's not going to take it. Pawn takes bishop would have walked into a fork with the black pawn stepping forward. A intermediate move hitting the black queen, traps the black queen, makes sure that the queen has to swap off for its counterpart, and that will lead to a totally winning endgame for white. The bishop dropping off and Hans Niemann resigns. Duda takes the win, catching up with the pack.
Oh, and that makes me I'm really excited to see then what the standings look like after the 10th round. 1 round to go. Is there anybody who can even catch up to Magnus is what I'm wondering. Has Magnus won the tournament?
Magnus, I think, has won the tournament, right? Nobody can get 9 points. Firouzja has finished. Duda has finished. Nobody else can get 9 points. Magnus has won the tournament. Wow, 1 round to spare. Congratulations, Magnus Carlsen.
Okay, but there's still a lot of excitement left because the question becomes, can Magnus get the first 11 out of 11 on the 11th day of the 11th month? That is my hope. And that is what we should all be rooting for. But who is he going to play against? He's played against so many of these top guys. Maybe Duda, he hasn't played against him?
He hasn't played Duda. I think that is a very likely pairing at this point, unless someone on the 7.5 pack wins. That could be Bortnik or Samonenkov. But maybe we jump in to see whether any of these players could catch up with Magnus right now. Yeah, it feels odd congratulating him, right? Because I don't think he even cares about the tournament victory anymore. And it's an all-Ukraine clash here. One of these two could play Magnus in the last round. We know how much the points mean to Bortnik, who wants to be at the EWC next year. But it does look like a difficult task ahead. 34 seconds versus 20. Samonenkov was one of the stars of Ukraine's European gold medals at the team championship recently. But he has just blundered. The white bishop trading off for the black bishop. And it's all about this b-pawn. Bortnik's got such an easy next few moves. For black is no easy turns next.
And that could be very important for Bortnik, who currently has 7.5 points. With 8.5, he'll really be entering the top 10 and in contention for a lot of points. Very important for him, as he said in our interview during the build-up, that he didn't play last week. This is important, and he does get the point. He is at 8.5 points. It's going to be interesting to see what the standings look like, because we already know who the winner is. Congratulations, Magnus. But can you do the even more incredible thing of winning every single game today? That would just be amazing. And Bortnik suddenly finds himself in 3rd place. So he's got a lot to play for in the last round as well.
Yeah, will it be Bortnik? Will it be Duda? It's a 50-50. They both had white. I think Magnus will keep his colors, probably. He'll keep alternating white-black. So probably Magnus will be black against one of the two. And we'll see if either of them can stop him. They're fighting for their own lives, right? Magnus is already in the EWC. Actually, the rest don't care. The rest want Magnus to win now in the next round, take down some rivals. Hikaru will want a helping hand in the kind of tour standings. But yeah, what do you think? Predictions? Is he going to do it?
Yes, I mean, he has to. This is the best opportunity we've ever had. We've never reached the final round with somebody at 10 out of 10. He must be very aware, and he must have checked the standings. So it's going to be interesting to see if how much he prioritizes now, because he has nothing to lose. He doesn't need a draw, and he's playing against Alexander Bortnik. We've seen this match before. It's two of the players with the most points in these Title Tuesdays. Come on, Magnus. Can you manage 11 out of 11?
Yeah, and Bortnik has given Magnus some trouble over the years. Bortnik has beaten him many, many times, including in Title Tuesdays. Nearly 3,200 on chess.com. That is a huge rating for the Ukrainian Grandmaster. He plays an e4, e5 opening. It's the 4 knights line of the Spanish. All the knights coming out. It is exactly as it says on the tin here, and Magnus develops his bishop. One of the main moves now is to actually belatedly take this knight off the board and just make it a bit more quiet. Bortnik castles instead. Magnus will likely do the same. Oh, I just feel like it's fate, right? It has to be now.
Yeah.
But I've been there so many times. When you're so close to your goal, that's when it gets most difficult.
Yeah.
Most accidents happen within 2 miles of your house. It's just, you see the finishing line, right? And then you relax too early.
And then you start thinking about the results and not about the game. But 88% of our viewers on YouTube, they think we will see 11 points. And that was a vote that we were doing earlier in the broadcast. So they have believed in Magnus for a long time. And let's see if he can manage. And there's been 7 times throughout Title Tuesday history where a player has gotten 11 out of 11. 3 of those times was Magnus. 2 of them, Hikaru Nakamura. Limle and Jose Martinez have both managed it once. So come on, Magnus, you can really get another one of these 11 out of 11s. They're rare and far between, but it would be amazing that it happens today.
Wow, history in the making. Magnus, he grabs a pawn. He's going for it here. He could have played a safer move. He could have just ignored the white knight in the center. Magnus doesn't look happy about his decision, but the eval bar says it's okay. He's gone a pawn up. And wow, Bortnik makes a big mistake, apparently. He gives up a second pawn. That's a big surprise. I thought he would just kick back the black knight and bring his bishop out. Magnus now a favorite to get there.
Magnus seems like disgusted with what his opponent is doing. I would think that you would be like happy and celebrating and like, oh, I'm getting a good chance in the opening. But he just looks at these moves with disgust.
Yeah, he's just shocked.
What am I talking about? Queen g4 got knight f6.
Or wait, is he doubting his own calculations?
I think he was worried about this move, queen into g4 now, but the black knight just drops back and trades off. Magnus is 2 pawns up. I think he's realizing now he's already done most of the hard work. Now he just needs to cling on to his extra material. Magnus is so close.
And he's got a lot of time, so that shouldn't be a problem for him.
I just don't see Bortnik's plan. Like, he gave up 2 pawns in the center, his 2 central pawns. He gave them both up. And black just ate both of those pawns, and they were tasty. Maybe the white queen will come out to one of these squares, try to whip up some attack, but it shouldn't work. And we see Bortnik there. Looks like he's frozen. Yeah, I think.
But it wasn't a look of joy on his face.
Exactly.
He seems, we can see some slight movement, so he's actually just locked into place. He's not really concentrating on the streaming right now. He's very focused at the fact that he's down 2 pawns. He's not sure where the compensation for those pawns is.
And Magnus doesn't play necessarily the best move, but it's good enough. The black pawn will step forward to hit the white queen. You can't really go for tactics involving the black rook in the corner. The queen will find herself trapped there. I'm thinking jumping out the way with the white knight. That will win the exchange, but it's only temporary since the black bishop will come out and trap that queen. That's why Bortnik's shaking his head. It's also cost him more than a minute now on the clock. Magnus is 2 pawns up, 1 minute up. Bortnik is living life on the edge. He tries to trap the black bishop, but Magnus now will probably push his pawn forward, I was going to say. Nope, he trades off knight for bishop, and now he will retreat this piece. Still looking good.
Bortnik is like looking out into the distance and being like, how did I get here? So early on in the game as well.
Exactly. With white to be 2 pawns down after, what was it, 10 moves. And right now Magnus is just debating where to go with his bishop, into the corner or onto a slightly more vulnerable square, but equally safe for now.
And a lot is at stake for Bortnik as well, because although first place, 10 points, they're going to go to Magnus no matter what. But the 8 points you get for second place, those are still up for grabs. And then there's 5 points. There's a lot of difference between the different placements here. And second place is way better than third, which is way better than fourth. Every little margin here matters and could be determining who gets to play in the Esports World Cup. So this is an important game for Bortnik, who is clearly disappointed with how it's played out.
Yeah, he just has to move his knight now. His queen will not get trapped anymore in the corner. He has to jump out the way with his knight with a check. There we go. He's going to pocket that rook in the corner, but the white queen is offside. She might take a few moves to get back. Currently, the material balance is black having a bishop and 2 pawns for a rook, so it's level material. But the white queen will need to sneak back before it's too late. And Magnus, in the meantime, will try to generate an attack, but he doesn't retreat his queen. That's very brave from Bortnik. But it might be too late. He has to get it out now. There we go. And he has to run before the black bishop closes the door.
But it looked like Magnus was kind of getting into a more concentrated phase there, where he was like, oh, I have to be precise. He's still better.
He's still better. Oh, not anymore. Magnus Carlsen's let it slip, and there's a key move. White has to bring this bishop forward, deflect the black queen away from the defense of his bishop, and suddenly the advantage turns. It switches hands.
What does Magnus say? Does he say anything? Does he notice it?
Bishop g5, queen d7, or bishop e6. I really, really didn't want to trade those bishops.
Oh, and it looks like Bortnik just realized what he missed. Oh no, that's like the worst feeling in the world, is like when you realize just a moment too late, oh my god, I had the opportunity.
Yeah, it's better not to realize, right?
Yeah.
Bortnik definitely knew. He definitely knew he had that opportunity to move his bishop out. As Magnus said, wasn't there for long, but Magnus still playing careless moves. He's trying to play quickly. He brings his rook forward. The white queen shouldn't have retreated. There were actually other ideas in the position. Bortnik really needs to block the black pawns now before they continue advancing. The advantage is switching hands. It's all about this move. Black needs to stop those pawns. Just block. There we go. And Magnus now is totally solid in the center. Magnus with a huge advantage. 2 minutes versus 1 minute. Will he get that 100%? Will he get 11 out of 11, the world number 1? Is he going to move his queen out the way now? Is he just going to get her off this central line where she's a bit vulnerable? He should be doing this, right? I don't think he could have dreamed it better. He's never been closer. And poor Bortnik, who said he was angry at the start of today. He was going to try and channel that anger. He's done so well, but he might be falling short. He's in 6th place at the moment, Bortnik, so only a win for him will really help him in the standings. Magnus repeats the position, or no, he doesn't. He chooses not to, moves his king. And the white queen is just so stuck. Bortnik gambling now. He knows he's playing a difficult position, but he needs to get his queen back into the game. He gives up his bishop. He's trying to create some tactics along this line. Black, though, has 2 bishops for the rook and a pawn now.
But look at Magnus's face.
Oh.
What is he saying?
This game. But I'm gonna get away with it, almost certainly.
I think he knows it hasn't been perfect. Earlier, he did miss 1 or 2 moves. He did let the advantage slip for 1 or 2 turns, but now it's totally one-sided again. It's 2 bishops and a pawn versus a rook. Massive material advantage for black, and on an open board, the bishops are so strong. Bortnik looks furious with himself in the meantime, cursing himself, telling himself off for missing some moves earlier, maybe for a dodgy opening where he lost material and rook trade. Magnus is getting closer. It's so close now, almost guaranteed. Those bishops are going to guide the pawn forward. A rook alone cannot stop this pawn. It's just a matter of time before it promotes now. Magnus Carlsen, the last few moves. The first time in the autumn split, we're going to see 11 out of 11. Oh. So close. 2 squares from touchdown. The black bishop just needs to come back and support the long diagonal. There we go. He's playing for stalemate, Bortnik. He's playing for tricks. Can he survive?
Well, Magnus is taking it seriously, at least. He's investing quite a bit of time in these final moments of the tournament.
Yeah, just avoiding any checkmating ideas. That's the only thing White has up his sleeve. Magnus, can he fend off the threats? Is he going to take the pawn? First, he gives a check. He's going to make a new queen next. The black bishop will defend any checks on the diagonal. Magnus Carlsen is going to get 11 out of 11. Here we go. It's not a checkmate. Magnus looks ready to celebrate. Will Bortnik resign? 7 seconds, 6 seconds. He gives up his rook. He plays for stalemate. It's going to end with checkmate. There's a trophy in the background. Magnus does it. 11 out of 11, the champion.
The big
Yay.
liquid cup outside as well. It's nice. Nepomniachtchi got himself to 9 out of 11, kind of out of nowhere. Let's just quickly have a look at last game. This was won by Hikaru against Savannah.
Magnus is looking for games that are still ongoing, and there are not many of them. And look at Bortnik.
Let's have a look. Oh, it's about to buy one. Alireza made it to 9 out of 11. So
there we go.
This is like third or fourth time maybe that I make 11 out of 11. It's always nice. Not gonna lie, it's a good feeling.
It was the fourth time, Magnus. We'll be
Okay,
happy to inform
tournament
you of that. We'll be happy to inform him of that later. And 11 out of 11. It was possible for Magnus, and he was aware of it. And he seemed very happy. Even though he seemed also like very concentrated in the final moments of the game, he was really making sure, I'm not going to mess this up.
Yeah, that was Magnus at his best. It also showed a hint of tiredness. 11 rounds, it's impossible to be perfect normally. He got the perfect score, but there were 1 or 2 moments Bortnik could have fought back. I feel for Bortnik. He was so close, especially after last week, the drama there, to getting some points. But yeah, I mean, Magnus, he's the man of the moment. That's all we can say. I was joking around that 11 out of 11 was possible, especially in such a strong field, but he did it. He did it, especially today.
And he did it with Firouzja, with Nepomniachtchi, with so many of these top players that are no longer playing also in the FIDE World Cup. People are concentrating. It's important to get these Champions Chess Tour points, and he still managed. And I'm very interested in seeing now the country standings. Surely now that Norway won the whole thing, we've got to be pretty high up. Okay, 10th place. It's not bad. The US with Neiman, with Hikaru, with Tang, they had a lot of good players today. So yet another victory for Team USA. And then Duda also helping Team Poland to do well on the country standings.
Yeah, and congratulations to Iran as well, rounding off the top 3. So many young players. I think it's one of the most popular tournaments in Iran. All of their top stars turning out.
And we have to take the standings back up because it's so beautiful today. 11 points out of 11 possible for Magnus. And we now have Magnus here. Magnus, congratulations with a perfect tournament. If you can hear me, Magnus. Congratulations,
I can hear
Magnus.
you, and
yes.
I am replying.
Okay,
Okay.
That is great. That is great to hear. Magnus, how obsessed were you with trying to get the perfect score in these final rounds?
Not really. I was trying to win the tournament, really. And even in the penultimate game, I just wanted to be safe, get at least a draw to secure at least share first. But I know once I'm there in the last round, you kind of want to when tournament victory is secured. But I have done it before, so it is a big achievement. But since I've done it before, it's not like I'm going to give everything to do it.
And this is the 4th time you manage it. And did you also know that today is the 11th day of the 11th month? So it was kind of in the cards.
I didn't think about that. But yeah, it was certainly meant to be. If the stars were ever aligning, it was today.
And you've been in the Team Liquid office today. What was it like playing from there?
It was all right. As always with my streams, there were some tech issues at first, but Team Liquid is great. They take really good care of me, and they have some really good facilities. So I had nothing to complain about.
And what have you been up to today to make it such a perfect day? It's also game week 11. Like there were 11s all over, and we were feeling like the stars were aligning, and you managed the perfect tournament. How have you been spending your day in the Netherlands?
I've been doing some content here with Liquid the last couple of days, but I got really good sleep last night, and it's usually a good a good thing, especially when it doesn't happen that often. You appreciate it even more.
And what about next week's now? There's only 2 weeks left of this split. How motivated are you to win the next ones?
I'll take it game by game, tournament by tournament, but I want to win everything, and this is, I guess, my 4th win of the split, which is pretty good. So yeah, hopefully I can keep that going. I should have a pretty decent lead now.
In the Hans game, were you kind of going for like a draw because you were playing like very quickly? You were trying to play the 4 knights defense. Like, what were you thinking in that game?
Yeah, I was leading the tournament, and I thought a draw was a good result. And then I had the experience of what happened a few weeks ago when I played Min in the last game, and I kind of played for a draw there as well. And then I ended up winning, and so I thought maybe if it kind of pisses him off that I play for a draw, maybe I can get some chances, because I'm not playing like 100% for a draw. I am trying just to play extremely safe and not lose, and if I get chances, I get chances.
And what about the game against Fallujah? That was like you were kind of losing at some point, but you managed to get back. What was your feeling in that game?
Yeah, that was not great. At that point, I was not feeling it that much, so I could feel myself getting like a little bit tense, and I got completely outplayed in the middle game there. I thought I had a good position, and then got outplayed, and I just tried to hustle. He made an impulsive decision at some point, which gave me very good drawing chances, and then he did 2 mistakes. Both he played too slowly, and he also didn't force the draw when he should have, and then I was the only one who could play for a win, and I took my chances. So overall, slightly lucky. I mean, that was certainly the game that I felt the worst about, but it was a good fight back at the very least.
And are you going to be celebrating with this huge trophy that we saw in the background today?
No, I won't, but I'll be celebrating by getting home to my wife and kid, whom I miss very much.
That sounds very nice. And then we'll see you in the next Title Tuesdays. Thank you, Magnus.
Thank you so much.
And David, Magnus seemed to be pretty happy with his games, even though he did admit that there were some ups and downs in some of the games.
Yeah, I mean, 11 out of 11 is nice. It looks perfect, but against such world-class opposition, there's always going to be some twists and turns on the way. And yeah, I mean, he was happy when he joined. We saw him on the camera. He was early for once. I think that was a good start. And it did feel written in the stars somehow. Nice to see him in a good mood.
We did get 11 out of 11, and we're also going to hear from Julian Song when we're back in just a moment.
Here we go.
All right, Julian, you won the last game, so are you feeling good right now?
Yeah, I'm so happy because I wanted half the points. I wanted to have 5.5 and to keep my 26 rating. And the way I won the last game, it was crazy because I was so low on time. So I'm really happy, yeah.
That sounds like something that has happened a lot today, because every time that we have been looking at your game, you have like 10 seconds left, both of you, and you're making as many moves as possible. You're winning even with a second left on the clock.
Yeah.
Why do you keep getting into these kinds of dramatic situations?
I don't know, but I mean, I think I just don't play enough blitz. Title Tuesday. I never played Title Tuesday, and actually it was like the first time for I don't know, many months or maybe years, and but it was a lot of fun, and maybe I will play more Title Tuesday because I mean sharing this with my community, it was so much fun. And when I was like winning these crazy games at the end, like everybody was cheering with me, and I don't know, maybe I will play more.
And I feel like you said something in one of your games that you passed some amount of subscribers during the game.
Yeah.
For the people who don't understand French, myself included, what were you saying?
Yeah, so I passed 700k subscribers on YouTube during the live.
Okay, well, congratulations.
So, yeah, thank you. Very happy, and I hope to maybe to get to 1 million at some point. I don't know when, but I hope so.
Okay. And so you're planning on playing more of the Title Tuesdays going forward. What are you going to do to prepare for them?
Yeah, I want to play more, but you know, it's so stressful, and I'm not so young, you know. And yeah, maybe I will play more, but I don't know. I need more preparation, I think. Maybe do more puzzle rush, more tactics, more blitz on a daily basis on chess.com. But yeah, I'm really hesitating to play it like every week.
And did you notice that Magnus got a perfect score, 11 out of 11? What is your reaction to that?
Yeah, at the end, I wanted to say goodbye to everyone, and I just update the chessboard, and I saw this 11 out of 11 is just crazy, and you can see that he's 2 points up compared to Firouzja, and Firouzja he's already the GOAT, Firouzja, so to have 2 points more than Firouzja is just totally crazy, and to get it, I think the date today is 11 November.
Yes, we've been making a huge point of it, and it's Game Week 11.
Yeah,
11th day, 11th month, Game Week 11. It was in the stars.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, to see that Magnus, I mean, for the past few years, like he still managed to dominate in such a way, like the chess scene is just, it's crazy. 11, wow. I have nothing to say, it's just crazy.
And you didn't get to play in the Dave Cave. David, have you played in Magnus's room?
I'm not allowed to cross the threshold into Magnus's room. It must have been nice to... I'm jealous you were allowed in, but did you feel any special powers coming from Magnus's room now?
Yeah, it felt very special, and like my followers, they were like very curious, like, what are you doing here? You are not supposed to be here, because they recognized that the studio was the one of Magnus. And it was like a crazy moment, because to be able to play here, it felt like a magical place, you know. The only issue is that you don't get the same level, you don't play the same games. But I tried, you know, to do like Magnus, because I know that now there is a meme across like internet, like with Magnus drinking those giant glasses.
Yes, he didn't have that today. Maybe that was why he won with a perfect score.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I tried, you know, to drink into those giant glasses. I don't know if it helped.
Okay. No, but you recently played against Alireza Firouzja. You played against him in Paris?
In Chartres. He lives in Chartres, so it's like a city like near Paris, like 1 hour of train.
Okay. And he got second place today.
Yeah. No, I'm really happy I was able to play some blitz with Firouzja. Really happy that to be able to share this moment with him, because like for me, he's a legend, and he's like a superstar in France. And he was really nice with me, and it was such a cool moment. And I don't know him very well, and so it was also the opportunity like to talk with him about his career, his goal for this season. We had dinner, and it just, you know, like it's so special to be able to share this moment with like one of your idols, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really cool.
And what else was really cool was the game that Magnus and Alireza played. Let's take a look at it, and you can join us, Julian. Look at this chaos game. It's going in every direction. The evaluation was in huge favor of Firouzja.
Okay.
And then Magnus is making some comebacks.
Firouzja is white, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Firouzja had the extra bishop. He was a piece up for most of the game, but
he's winning.
He started losing all of his pawns.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah. Oh, now it's better for black. I know it's equal. I know it's better for black. Wow, crazy position.
And soon it was...
Yeah, now it's lost. But he's so long. Oh, they exchange queens. Looks like no, it's not a draw. Yeah, it's losing. Oh,
That was a roller coaster of a game that we had there, and that I think was one of the highlights for me. But David, how impressive is it that despite this kind of crazy game, Magnus manages 11 out of 11?
Yeah, just so impressive. Magnus was playing it cool. He's going to be celebrating hard. He's going to be riding a high for a while. And while his performance was impressive, Julian, I was most excited about your celebrations. When we saw you win on time a few times, just like hulking out there, it was nice to see the excitement.
Yeah, what I liked a lot with this title Tuesday is the fact that there is no increment. And actually, I think for me, it's like the first time maybe I played a tournament without increment. For, I don't know, many years. And it's really cool. I mean, it's very innovative. The game, you have more attention. And I think for the spectators, it's even better because even if the position is lost, there is still this tension, this
hope.
Yeah, this hope because maybe you're going to flag the opponent. And I know this is from like what happened in the eSport World Cup. And it's a very cool innovation, and I hope they will keep it and maybe expand it to many other tournaments.
Absolutely, and it was inspired by this Esports World Cup where they tried this format, and it was very popular among viewers, as you say, because suddenly anyone could win, and it was always exciting to follow the clock. And we can take a look at the standings now and to see who is en route to qualify for the Esports World Cup. Firouzja, he's doing well.
I'm really happy. I hope he will qualify. It's crazy because the first two, it's Magnus and Firouzja, and actually the final of the last Esports World Cup.
Yeah, and Hikaru came third in the Esports World Cup last time as well, so top three, same. Okay. And nice to see the likes of Bortnik still in there, getting a point. Lazovic gets a point, Duda gets a couple. It's getting very close though.
And we also see that this is the standings in the Split 1 and the autumn split, the first split of the Title Tuesday after they have changed the format to this no increment standings that you like, Julien. And Magnus, he has already won the first split because nobody can catch up. There's only 2 more Tuesdays to get points. And even if Alireza would win both of the next ones, Magnus has won. So he's dominated in this Title Tuesday.
So he's already qualified?
Magnus is already qualified because he won this summer.
Okay.
So it's more interesting to see will Alireza, will Hikaru, will Duda, but it looks very promising for them as well.
Yeah.
And there are such big prizes, and it means a lot to the players and to Bortnik as well, who said, "I really need to make a comeback. I wanna win." It was nice to see that he also gets some points. So that's going to be very exciting to follow the next Esports World Championship.
Yeah.
And what's next for you, Julian? Where can your fans catch you next?
Yeah, now I'm working on a new project because, like, for the past few months, I made a lot of views on the social media, but I want to bring people over a chessboard, a real one, in the real life. So now I'm organizing many chess tournaments in real life across all the French-speaking countries. And I think it's a way to bring more people into a real chessboard and to share the game not only online but also over the board and to make new friends. So that's really cool, I think. And also I think it's the first step. Many people, they play online, but then they hesitate a lot before going into an official chess club. So to play those casual tournaments that I usually organize in chess bars, it's maybe a way for them to transition slowly into playing over the board and then maybe to get into a chess club.
And we hope that you will also be inspired to play more of the Title Tuesdays. You did well today, and we loved seeing your reactions. So hopefully that's also in your future. So thank you to both of you for being here. Thank you, Julian, for traveling here, and David, as always. And we will be back next Tuesday for another Titled Tuesday, last 2 Tuesdays of this split.
Hans Niemann hasn't done much wrong. I can't fault a single one of Hans' moves, but somehow it's got from slightly worse to much worse to almost dead loss now. Andrew Tang is the fastest man in the West. We know that. And Hikaru's blundered. He's trapped his own knight. Checkmate, guaranteed. And there we go. Andrew Tang, the penguin, takes the win. Oh, apparently lets it slip. Alireza Firouzja. He went too fast with his pawn. He put it on a vulnerable square. He's going to be on 9 out of 9. Firouzja down at 4 seconds. A queen appears. Checkmate guaranteed. Magnus wins.
Here we go.